Did we take it too far to say that we could not pretend now? Was it never enough to have just everything you want? In your shadow I found a place to hide me from my own thoughts. And if I ever got lost, you find a way to bring me home. And I want something I can hold, that's worth this waiting cold. And I want something that is big,
You've been running in circles inside my head. Wasn't looking for love, but baby, I found you instead. Saw you in the red dress. I can't seem to understand how you got all that finesse. Still been running in circles inside my head. Wasn't looking for love, but baby, I found you instead.
You lift me off of the ground. I close my eyes and I wait for the come down. I used to live in the now. Now I'm wiser to think that we are bulletproof. Teens with thicker skin, now we just bruise. We were hopeless and we're hopeless now. But I remember we threw our fists in the air singing. I remember when we were kids, never scared, yeah. And the sky went dark, we used our hearts to guide us. You showed me you care. And I remember, yeah, I remember. Now, but I remember we threw our fists in the air singing. I remember when we were kids, never scared, yeah. And the sky went dark, we used our hearts to guide us. You showed me you care. And I remember, yeah, I remember. remember.
Ladies, gentlemen, and Rocket League fans everywhere, it has all come down to this. East Coast Conference Finals, West Coast Conference Finals, and Season 11 Ramen Bowl Grand Finals. Everyone watching, welcome to the end of our Season 11. We are here to watch our semifinal and grand final matches. I am Far Out, joined by Chaos Spike on the mic. Chaos, we've come a long week from our first week of league play, haven't we?
Yes, indeed. This is what everybody has been playing for. The big prize pool on the line, the 70-30 split here for the big $1,000 prize. But first, they're going to have to make it past the conference finals. It's going to be between Baltimore and Philly for this first one. Then we got to deal with the West afterwards. These two teams in the East are the only two that are the highest seeded that are left over. We got the first, second seeds playing off here. In the West, completely opposite story. The first three seeds all eliminated already. So the Eastern Conference has shown that if you were the first and second team, you were the first and second best team, and as they're holding on to dear life here. Now it's the Philadelphia Plague and the Baltimore Kraken, both very powerful teams, tied deadlocked for their win-loss ratio. 14-4 was both teams' records. The power rankings had made a few predictions here, and it was 2-1 in favor of the Baltimore Kraken. So it looks like Philly is the underdogs coming into this, but I'd say let's get them on the field here and let's see what's going to happen.
Absolutely. Like you mentioned, these two teams having nearly identical league play records coming into this. The 1 and 2 seeds, we've watched both these teams be rather strong, rather dominant throughout this season. And all the way up here to the conference finals, we'll see who comes out on top first. Leaf throwing one a little bit wide of net there, collected by TK. Leaf up for another challenge. Daffy trying to get an infield pass. That one goes forward, collected by Mythic. Zernite looking for a shot on net as well, sent away by Capsize. These opening seconds, Chaos, are Baltimore Kraken on the offense.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see who's going to pop off here, and this one actually could find the back of the net. It's going to be off the post. Capsize will pinch it in and put Philly ahead by a goal early on, but as I was about to say, for TK, Capsize, and Mythic, they're pretty even when you look at the stat line for the offensive distribution. Baltimore, when you're looking at the goals scored over there, Xernite, 77 goals on the regular season for him. And then if we look at the other two, it's 43 goals for Leaf and 26 for Daffy. So if that tells me anything, we got to be watching Xernite.
Absolutely. The diversity and variation of these play styles coming in. Like you said, Philadelphia Plague, the more well-rounded team here. Everyone having an equal say in the offensive pushes, but Baltimore with almost more of a designated striker role. Like you said there, Xernite, 70-some goals on the season. That's an awful lot of goals to be putting in. So it seems like the Baltimore Kraken potentially have been playing that style, or Xernite just potentially falling more naturally into that offensive role. The Baltimore Kraken, though, here now staving off an offensive push from the Philadelphia Plague. Capsize looking to take this one off the hood of Leaf, but Leaf's pass over to Daffy. It's a touch off the board. Waterfall and down, and Daffy's going to finish it hard. The Baltimore Kraken answer back here with a tie game in the first minute.
Daffy being the first one to answer back here for the Kraken, releasing the Kraken, one would say. Zernite is the captain of the team. I thought it was Daffy, but yeah, Daffy going to be the one to pop off here first. Going to take a little bit of pressure off Zernite, and the kickoff kind of stalls at midfield. Zernite, quick touch here. TK, great dunk. Going to try and follow this one up, put it around top. Good touch there by Daffy to keep it at harm's way. Capsize, shot on goal, just a bit wide as Daffy coming up with the save. Demo on the back line. Mythic starting to create a lot of chaos in the back line for the physicality starting to come out.
Yeah, I mean, that follow-up from Capsize kind of put Baltimore on their back foot. We saw two players try to cheat out a little bit to get some offensive, or to get some boost to deal with the pressure that they're under from the Philadelphia Plague. And Philadelphia there, a demo onto the Baltimore goal line as well. The Philadelphia Plague coming out here swinging as well, trying to get some more goals on the board. This one, an infield pass, Daffy over to Zernite, will be shut down by the Plague. TK collecting this one in midfield. His touch would have been off the backboard, but sent away, I believe, by Leaf. Daffy there and Leaf, potentially a small double commit, but the Baltimore Kraken stay tied here with the Plague. TK now up into the corner. Another potential double shot option from the Philadelphia Plague goes unanswered, and that player will be demoed for their efforts on the goal line by Zernite. Baltimore now looking for a push. Daffy's touch, backboard and up. Zernite with the follow, but Capsize sends it away. These teams coming out strong on offense and defense, Chaos.
Oh, that was a beautiful play, but a better save that came up afterwards. TK, another golden opportunity here. One coming on both sides, but a better save again by Baltimore. Mythic taking high to the sky here above. Off the crossbar, going it down. Goal by Philly, 2-1.
Yeah, that's an absolutely offensive, an impressive showcase by Mythic. The double touch, air dribble, off the backboard and in. No ground on that ball, and the Hellfire rages out of that goal. It's Mythic putting the Philadelphia Plague up 2-1.
Yeah, and I was wondering when that was going to happen because the shots are just mounting on one side. It's been all Philly. The shots were 7-1 in favor of them at that point. Baltimore has picked up one more shot since then. Quick shot on goal here. Going to come up short. Leaf going to try and clear it over the Daffy, but he's cut off instantly. TK, and that 50 is going to go all the way back. What is standing out to you right now, Fire, between these two teams? What are we looking at?
Well, like you mentioned, the shot deficit already so strong in favor of Philly. I hadn't even noticed. I hadn't opened the scoreboard until that point. I've just been watching these teams slug it out, and things don't feel as offensively one-sided. I think Baltimore Kraken are getting a lot of offensive options. They're just not actually getting those balls sent at the net, whether Philadelphia is clearing them away more effectively and early or just sending more shots at the net. It does show in the scoreboard now 9 on the board for the Philadelphia Plague and only 2 for the Kraken. Although this is only a 1-goal game, things aren't as one-sided as they seem. Leaf here looking for a double touch, sent away by Capsize. Zernite as well beats Capsize, looks for another touch, sends this one across. TK will clear it though, and Daffy looking to collect here in midfield for the Kraken, seemingly unchallenged, flicks one, challenges the other one, and Leaf here in position to keep this play offensive. Daffy over, almost past Zernite, but the Baltimore Kraken should be able to isolate this ball in midfield, and they do. Shot from Capsize sent away by Leaf. The Baltimore Kraken defense holding on, but they have 1 minute to tie this game, Chaos.
Yeah, Mythic's going to try and get something going here and get an assurance goal. Perhaps could not sneak it by the last man, Daffy, at midfield. TK going to slow it down a little bit in front of his net. A little bit dangerous here as the attack almost put that one back. TK going to find Capsize in front. Big stop there by Baltimore, just keeping that out of harm's way just by a hair. Approaching 30 seconds left here, and Philly holding on to the 2-1 lead currently.
Yeah, they haven't put up any shots in the last minute or two here. Things have stayed at 9. An additional one from the Baltimore Kraken. To save your medal is that one for a Capsize, rings off the bar and out. TK looking for a backward pass to Mythic. Unfortunately, things did not go that way. 10-second warning here on the screen in game 1. Baltimore Kraken will need a goal quickly, but as that one slowly heads into their corner, they may have one offensive push. Capsize will shut it down pretty quickly. And it looks like that ball is almost going to go into the net. It will go into the net, and a 3-1-2 on this game by Mythic off of that's 11 shots for the Kraken. And they come out strong here in game 1.
Yeah, they nailing that last nail in the coffin there in game 1. They're going to pick up the W 3-1. Now, something I forgot to talk about because I casted these guys last week was Mythic being the lower salary guy. Absolutely popped off. And it looks like he is not slowing down. What a game by him. Couple of goals. 4 shots, and you can just see the control and just the confidence while he's playing out there. And the stuff I saw him doing in the pre-lobby too, like he is just playing on another level. And when you have Mythic as, I believe, what is he? He's a 180, so he is their C roster. When he is playing the way he is, that is a dangerous combination for Philly. Baltimore, they're gonna have to do a little bit of checking here, Fire. I'm not sure. Like they were just smothered, it felt like.
You know, I mean, I felt this game was pretty close. I don't think there was a player on this pitch personally that really had a bad game. I mean, we saw some impressive plays from Mythic and a lot of offensive pressure from Capsize on behalf of Philly, but there was also a lot of really effective defense. There was at least one savior medal on behalf of the Baltimore Kraken. This game, to me at least, Chaos, didn't feel too one-sided. We're going to have to see if Baltimore Kraken can answer back here in game 2. Like we mentioned, the grand finals being a 70-30 split, the winner of this series will go home with some money regardless of what happens in the grand finals, but first they have to get there, Chaos.
Yeah, good point. Like this game is pretty crucial in the fact that it will solidify you a little bit of money no matter what, and then what you do with the next game is totally up to you if you want to make more or not. Capsize gonna put that on goal and open up the scoring. Philly picking up where they left off, just completely on the offensive.
Yeah, it's a nice clean play from Capsize, sneaking that one inside the close post. Daffy getting a bumper on it, but unfortunately not enough force on his car to keep that one out of the net, and it does go in with Capsize opening up the goal here. Philly continue their momentous offense. Mythic here now, looking for a touch. It's sent away now. Leaf over to Daffy and potentially back to Leaf here. An infield pass over to Daffy, and that's going to be another clean one in a mirror of game 1. Philadelphia score, and the Kraken answer back. A nice 1-2 from Leaf to Daffy.
Again, another goal coming in by Daffy. He's got the only 2 of the whole series so far for Baltimore. So Xernite just playing a little bit more passive, or just haven't been able to find the chip in the armor of Philadelphia. So we will see if that will continue to be the factor that moves on in this game or not. Capsize going to mount another offensive onslaught here in front of the net. Mythic creeping in. You got to watch out for him. TK going to punch this one back. Going to control it. He's challenged instantly. Leaf moving this one into the corner. Look for a bump on the Philly defender. Leaf up top should be easily turned aside by Mythic. He does, but he gets demoed for the effort as well. And that is actually a notable thing for our last game that I casted, as that's just going to go in. TK going to get credited for that one. Get the lead back, but Mythic was absolutely targeted from what I remember in the last game I casted. He got demoed an absorbent amount of times. Like, I'm talking a dozen, so I'm not sure what that reason is that he gets targeted so much, but that could be something to watch out for.
Well, it's definitely an interesting thing to see, like you said, if a team is having success at targeting a player and taking one of the stronger players off the field intentionally and succeeding at it. That's a really strong play to put forward if you're able to succeed at it. And like you said, Mythic at least a dozen times taken off that pitch. If it's working out for whoever the Philadelphia players are playing, that other teams might be following suit here. The Kraken, at least I think you said already, one demo onto Mythic. I don't know if it was directly involved in that goal, but it's a nice thing to see, and it's interesting to see how it pays off. This one's sent towards the net and away by Capsize. Daffy here looking for the infield pass. Leaf sends a weak one on. Daffy's there, but Mythic is as well, and this one's sent away. A 2-1 again here, but we are only in the first couple minutes of game 2.
Yeah, the offense is kind of stalled out a little bit here by both teams, and it's only 2 shots apiece right now, so nothing crazy like we saw last game where it was like 14-3 or whatever the final was in that. So both teams kind of relaxing a little bit here, gonna cool things off. They came out flying into the gates, but they're starting to try and adjust to each other here and play a little bit more conservative, it would appear, as they're really struggling to maintain the possession in one end or the other. The midfield game is just transitioning back and forth.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right on that, Chaos. If the ball, although this one is heading towards the net, Daffy away and Leaf now outward. An excellent defensive push from the Baltimore Kraken. If the Baltimore Kraken are keeping Philadelphia's shot totals low, and in my mind, that means they've adapted to the pressure from game 1. They're meeting the Philadelphia Plague at midfield. This here, another touch, pass play forward from the Baltimore Kraken, a 1-2-3, sent away by the Plague, but I think it goes to show how they've adapted from game 1. And they're analyzing the Philadelphia players and realizing what they need to do to keep their shot options down, keep them a bit smothered, and bring the game to them at the midfield. It may be working. That one, a slow one from Daffy sent forward. I think this one's wide. TK there, but it goes up high. Xernite now looking to clear, but dunked hard by Capsize. Leaf will throw it away, but Mythic can collect it in midfield. Zernite now looking for a touch. Daffy comes in as well. Zernite again on the corner, sending this out. Redirect, I believe Daffy got a touch on that ball. The streak looked blue, but it was off his teammate's car, so it's difficult to tell. These teams really are slugging things out. This game does, in fact, Chaos, feel a little bit closer than the previous.
Yeah, a lot of grind going on here at midfield. It's just the challenges instantly. They're not respecting each other at all, just cutting off the space, not giving each other a moment of opportunity to put a shot on goal. But as I say that, there's a shot, but a great save coming in by Leaf. Daffy gonna try and get it clear here. It's a little bit weak though, and unfortunately, right to a Philly attacker. Philly's gonna move in on that one, and that is a 50-50. Capsize. Oh my, that is unfortunate for, as that one, like, definitely not intentional by Capsize, but hey, you know, you got to take what you can get sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the smallest of miscommunications by the Baltimore defense, and Capsize credited with the goal there. I think it goes to show just how slim these margins are that these teams can perform at, and how it's gotten them to this point in the season. The smallest touch, the smallest degree of angle left uncovered or confused by the Baltimore defense instantly results in a goal for the Philadelphia Plague here. With 1 minute to go, that one is falling in, but Zernite will send it away. And Daffy in as well over to Zernite. I'm seeing Baltimore connecting a lot on their defensive clears. I think it's a step in the right direction. They do have 2 to get within a minute, though, if they want to tie up game 2, and I don't think the Philadelphia Plague are particularly in a position to let them do that.
Yeah, and they're just trying to shave a little bit of time off the clock here. Potentially going to work for another goal if they can, but they're looking pretty good right now with a 2-goal lead. 30 seconds remaining here. Baltimore needs to strike now if they can. Daffy, huge clear. Mythic's going to read that one, send it back to where it came from, but Zernite going to throw it on goal. Capsize, playing patiently. Going to make a good touch and a save. A little bit of a double commit here by Baltimore, but it doesn't work out too bad, as it's going to end up in front of the net here. Great opportunity, and Zernite will break the scoreless drought right when they need it most. 13 seconds remain. They have enough time for.
Yeah, the smallest Mitch touch from Capsize, and Zernite's there to punish. 13 seconds. The Baltimore Kraken may have a hope here in taking game 2, but they're going to need a nice, strong kickoff to go their way. Kickoff is lost, but picked up by Zernite, or excuse me, one of the players in midfield. Zernite demoed out of the midfield. Daffy now to the wall and up. Touchdown by TK, as well as Capsize and over to Mythic. That ball is going to get touched to the ground, and the Philadelphia Plague a 2-0 lead here, Chaos.
Yeah, Philly is sending a strong message here. Nothing's got to feel better than taking the first 2 games, getting yourself in a pretty good spot here. Baltimore, they're going to have to do a little bit of a mental check here, reset everything, make sure everybody's not getting on tilt. They're going to have to clear their conscience here and talk about what's been going on here in the last 2 games, because that, I mean, they got a goal at the end, so it wasn't back-to-back 3-1, but it was pretty similar games. I saw a lot more good adjustments by Baltimore. We kind of talked about how they were shutting down the shot number and the space on the midfield. So they did a lot of good corrections, but just not enough, it felt.
Oh, I mean, I do agree here. We're looking at 7 shots to 7, actually, with a 1-goal game. Things just absolutely neck and neck. You know, you mentioned early on in this game that the Baltimore Kraken were cutting off Philadelphia as often as they could, and it really made me think something we all recognize so much when we play this game. There's a time for respecting your opponents, and there's a time when you have to try to go in and take the ball. And we reached that point pretty early in this series. Both these teams coming out of the gate swinging here in game 2, trying to cut off any options, try to get as much possession as they can in this game to try to swing the series momentum their way. Although with 7 shots to 7 and only a 1-goal game, this one, that game 2, extremely close here.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it looks like Daffy did not join up right away, and now he's in there, so I think they were okay. I was curious if he was in the lobby, but he is, so, and I mean, I guess it works out here for, I'm not sure if potentially Philly hesitated because of what happened, but they're going to pick up an early goal here.
It is possible. 4:51 on the clock. I'm not sure what the rule book says. If anything would need to be reset, it doesn't seem like any Philadelphia players are particularly asking for that. This kickoff, all 6 players on the pitch moving. So I believe we're going to play on here. Capsize in the chat there mentioning as well that one should be good to let go. So the Philadelphia Plague going to start game 3 down 1. The Baltimore Kraken's first lead in this series.
Yeah, very interesting start here, and that could be what Baltimore needed. Their first lead in the series, like you say. And here's a 50-50 by Zernae up top. Daffy tried to get Capsize, will cut that one off instantly. Leaf again, quick on the challenge here, and now Baltimore looking pretty speedy out of the gates here. You know, the Kraken just getting in the face of the Plague here right away, and just looking like Philly from games 1 and 2.
Yeah, I agree with you. That play in front of net from Zernite to try to set up the option was really strong. Was really speedy. I don't know if it's going to be strong enough to put another one past the Plague, but the Baltimore Kraken are on an extended push here. Daffy into the corner. Sent away by Capsize. Leaf up at midfield. His touch goes down and out. Does Mythic have the read? He does, but Zernite will clear it out, and Daffy again. That's a combo we're seeing a lot on the Baltimore defense here. Zernite and Daffy keeping this net as clean as they can in the series, and absolutely clean here in Game 3.
Oh, beautiful play there. Capsize couldn't put it on goal, unfortunately. Just a little bit wide. Mythic going to move this one back towards the corner here. They need to get everything reset and get back into the shape they were a couple games ago, as they looked a little shaky out of the gates here after the little bit of confusion, and Baltimore has just looked absolutely speedy to the pitch here, just beating them on every attack and just in their face on every play. And here we go once again. Capsize gonna try and cut this spacing down a little bit, but Zernite gonna clear that one back to the Philly goal as that one's moved away.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. Baltimore here have the momentum in their favor, and they do not want to give it up, because so far in this series, it shows when they've got the lead, they have momentum against Philadelphia, and they're not going to want to give any space to them. Zernite picking this one up, beating one out of the corner, beating two. It's a 2v1 situation here, Leaf and Zernite, and that touch a little bit weak from Leaf, not going to go in. The Baltimore Kraken still in the lead here, but they're going to have to keep this up. Leaf calls off that ball for Zernite. Leaf up for the touch. Still in front of the Philadelphia net. Mythic will collect it, though. Take it away. Daffy here in that corner. This one now on to Zernite. Zernite's interference enough to send that one away. Baltimore Kraken here on defense again.
Yeah, a little bit of a clear here, cut off, and still at midfield. Zernite, he's got a lot of space here. He's going to take it up the wall. No boost, however, but he gets it by one. Capsize going to meet with that one. Setting it up field to TK. TK gets cut off by Leaf as that one comes back down. Capsize starts to turn on it. Leaf making a great zero boost play to get it by him. This one shipped on net. TK getting a big clear upfield. Mythic going up top for the air bump. He gets it. The shot on goal by TK below is saved by Leaf.
Yeah, that's a super clean. That's a 200 IQ play if I've seen one out of Philadelphia, going to knock the defender out of the air and try to create the space needed for Philadelphia to put that one into the net. They still have the ball here, and they are trying to do everything they can with it. That one's going to go in. TK beating Leaf out of the corner. Just the smallest little flick over his head. I think the defender potentially touching that boost pad took him out of the play, and TK is going to capitalize. The Plague have answered back here. We have 1-1 in Game 3 with only 1:38 on the clock. All three of these games, Chaos, as tight as we could have possibly seen.
Yeah, I mean, every game's been separated by just a goal or two, so, I mean, that early goal by Baltimore, it looked to be pretty crucial, but TK, I mean, Leaf was just saying, okay, TK, just relax, as he just completely balled him all the way down the field to get credit for that goal. So, very good goal by him, and a clutch one, as, you know, pretty late into the game here, 1:15 on the clock, and still both teams just neck and neck. It could really go either way.
I mean, Game 3 here in the semifinals, there is no room for error. These teams tied up once again, but Baltimore is going to need to perform when the chips are down if they don't want to go to match point. They had a lead here, their first lead in the series, and they unfortunately had it taken away from them, so they're going to have to keep doing something to put this ball back into the Philly half, create enough opportunities, and continue to play strong. But this is TK with a lot of space, flicks into the crossbar, bumps the defender, and the Philadelphia Play get a go-ahead goal by Mythic off the great play, heads-up play from TK.
Beautiful play by TK, flicking up top, getting tangled up with Leaf too to make sure that he cannot make the stop. And I mean, that is a crucial goal. You know, we're past the 1 minute remaining mark, getting the go-ahead. 46 seconds left. Baltimore has looked a little bit slower all of a sudden and shaky ever since they got that first goal. They looked so dominant for about a minute, and then just something happened. Now we got Philly popping off once again.
They were definitely strong and speedy off their play and their lead, it almost goes to show how quickly the tides can turn here. If Philadelphia Plague have taken any wind out of their sails, the Baltimore players just on defense yet again. Daffy here looking to cheat forward. That one's going to be off the board and still up and loose in the Baltimore half. Trying to collect are the Baltimore players. This one will be sent away, but TK there to capitalize. Leaf stealing that that half field boost, but the Philadelphia Plague here still on offense, and they have no space to let up here with the 1-goal lead and this ball in their opponent's half. This one's still up. Daffy now over to Zernite, but will be touched down by Mythic, and the Philadelphia Plague have reached match point in the semifinals.
Yeah, that is very good spot for Philly to put themselves in. It's got to feel good, after that early weird goal that happened, and then you come back after all that adversity and you get the second one. I mean, Philly is looking sharp. I've always kind of leaned towards Philly, a little bit of bias because I really like that club and Mixta and the guys that are over there. So if I were to pick someone, I would have probably leaned towards Philly just as a bias pick. But both these teams very talented, as we know, looking at their stats throughout the season. But Philly has put themselves in a good spot and we all know how tough a reverse sweep is to pull off, but we also all know it's possible. And when you start to get that momentum going, working in your favor for the reverse sweep to work, sometimes that can affect the mentality of the other team. You take the first game, then you take the second one, and then they start to get a little bit nervous. They say, okay, like one was okay, but like two, like, uh-oh, is this getting away from us? So that's what Baltimore is going to have to work towards.
Yeah, you're exactly right. If they want to, tie this series up, get 3 unanswered games off the Philly players, it's going to start with 1 game at a time, and it's do or die for the Kraken here. They've got to play 1 game at a time if they want to reach that tied series point. 5 minutes on the clock now as we enter game 4. All eyes on the Baltimore Kraken.
The water is getting shallow for the Kraken. Can the Plague finish this all off? Game 4, 5 minutes on the clock. Let's see what'll happen as Mythic will push that one forward. Capsize gets that one over top. Daffy. Mythic touches that one towards net. Leafy, good save. Gonna carry that one out to midfield. TK is gonna be waiting patiently for him. Popping it up. Gonna go for a solo off the backboard. And he taps it down, but a good read by Zernite up top to alleviate the pressure.
It was a good touch here. The Philadelphia Plague on offense already. We saw Daffy try to go out and beat the third man to get some possession for the Baltimore Kraken, but he just could not be quick enough. Although this touch, a negative angle off one of the hoods of a Philadelphia player, will head towards the net. Daffy on the backboard and Zernite throwing one towards. The ball is in the Philadelphia Plague half. We're going to have to see what Baltimore can bring to that goal box. A high touch sent away by Mythic, collected by Zernite. It's going to be sealing and down. Daffy up for the read. This one a high ball, an air roll shot in by Zernite, sent away by Capsize. And the Philadelphia Plague now are the only ones for a brief moment in the Baltimore Kraken half. This ball off the board, wall and sent away. A double tap off that sidewall by TK will be collected by Daffy. Daffy fakes out Mythic. Daffy over to Zernite, sends one into the midfield. Leaf now picking this one up. A couple players in the way. Goes for an air dribble, but right into the waiting hood of TK. This one sends across the net, unanswered by a couple players. Will be transitioned back into the Baltimore half, and Philadelphia still with the ball here.
What a pinch, and Leaf to read that as well. Oh my, the reaction time. TK gonna be last man here, gonna fire this one upfield, hoping Mythic is gonna stay up for the cherry pick. He does, gonna tap it down softly. Zernite, not a great touch here, but luckily Leaf will catch up to that one, get a nice read on the double off the mid wall to push that further down the field. Still 0-0 here. Both teams really just jockeying to get that first goal, as it could be the difference maker right now. But, that's a great shot by TK and a great save by Baltimore. But, the 2 shots for Baltimore, and that's going to end up in an empty net by Capsize.
Yeah, unfortunately, it seems like we've had 2 non-stop, uninterrupted minutes of pressure by the Philadelphia Plague, and eventually something is going to give. 3 minutes on the clock here for Baltimore, but they're definitely going to want to answer back fast, or they'll just be sent a wash by the offense. Philadelphia Plague have not let up. Unfortunately, the smallest whiff there will result in a Philadelphia goal. Capsize looking for a flip reset on that one, but again, the Baltimore Kraken players connecting on their defensive rotation. All 3 of them here pushing into the Philadelphia Plague half. Daffy up, beats the defender, and does put Baltimore on the board here, answering back and tying this game. It's a little bit of light at the end of the Baltimore Kraken's tunnel, but they have to hold on to it, not go and take any steps backwards.
Yeah, crucial goal by Daffy, and I mean he's got 3 in the series now, so this guy's really doing everything he can. But he needs a little bit of support here. He can't be the only one scoring the goal. So let's look to the guy who had 77 in the season. He needs to put a few in the back of the net. Zernite going to be cut off right away, though. I mean, Philly's definitely done their homework and knows they can't let this guy shoot. So it could be a matter of they're just shutting him down very effectively right now.
They definitely were, but now it's going to be Baltimore on offense. TK over to Capsize, looking to transition outward, but Leaf is there waiting. That one's hard. On to net, may have been bar and down. TK will send it away, but the Baltimore Kraken still now pushing hard, swinging a little bit quicker. Now they have to rotate out of defense, but they may have it in them. Capsize now up, beats one. This one loose and floating downward. Daffy will pick it up as Leaf pushes forward hard and aggressively, looking for the ball, looking for the defender, but now it's TK. Has one to beat. I don't know if he faked out Zernite what he did, but that one's going to go in. A go-ahead goal for the Plague here in the third or fourth minute.
TK just an unconventional air dribble, just getting a touch that really confused Zernite to put that in the back of the net, give them a go-ahead goal. So now, being on match point with a 1-goal lead, that is pretty good. What would be better? A little bit of insurance. So Capsize going to move up top, going to bump Daffy out of the way, kind of beat both Baltimore defenders to that one, still kind of sitting here in front of the net, bit of a clear upfield. Capsize cutting that one off down below. Leaf, weak touch here, again in front of their net, and just no one's there. Baltimore looking a little bit shaky when they are pressured in front of their net.
Well, they are. I mean, if you're on the Philadelphia Plague, you've got to be smiling ear to ear. All you have to do is not let off the gas or let one in for 1:20. That's a beautiful save by Mythic. Zernite's shot going high here, and TK clearing that one out with a nice squishy save in and out of the goal. Daffy back pass defensively to Leaf, who does not get a double touch, and Mythic is there within a heartbeat to send that one back towards the net. It goes lateral across the Baltimore Kraken half here, but the Philadelphia Plague have 1 minute to not concede, and they will win this conference finals and the season 11 semifinals, securing themselves a place in the Grands as well as a share of that $1,000 prize pool. TK up here with a double touch, just trying to be a nuisance on offense. Capsize turning as 2 Baltimore players go for that one. The Philadelphia Plague are not going to let off the gas here at all, Chaos.
No, they are not, and TK's going to take high to the sky there. They just want to put one more in for the deal breaker, but Leaf getting a beautiful clear here. TK making sure he's not too far upfield. Getting a great touch, going to control it off the backboard. Gets one more. Zernite's there, but TK's just faster. He's beating everybody to the ball. Leaf 50-50 at midfield. Zernite, that one's on goal. Nobody's back. It is tied up at 14 seconds left. Baltimore's done it.
Yeah, I mean, with that touch, I think it was maybe Mythic going a little bit too close, a little bit too far out of the goal box before turning to rotate that one. The Baltimore Kraken may have been given a gift here. 2-2 with 14 seconds left on a match point. The Kraken have absolutely no room for error here. Daffy's touch off the kickoff goes towards the wall. Capsize looking to isolate, does get on the good side of that ball, and TK will take it over. TK off the ceiling, uses his flip, but gets dunked by Zernite as this one goes low. Leaf has one, but is shut down by Mythic. That one sent towards net, but will drop. It is overtime here, Chaos.
Baltimore started to find their footing late in that game, so I'm curious to see what they're going to do in overtime. Zernite, great 50-50 and to the back of the net. Baltimore stays alive for another game.
My God, this absolute strongest of momentum. Zernite just dunking Mythic within an inch of his life. TK did not expect that one to slide inside the post so narrowly, and we will see Game 5 in this series.
That was quite the roller coaster, you know. It felt like Philly had it all locked up. Then Baltimore tying it so late into the game, then that huge 50 dunk at the end by Zernite. I mean, that is what they needed. He had a couple goals there, and I think he only had one up until that point. So finally, the guy that's put so many goals in the back of the net for them throughout the regular season, starting to find his footing. And I mean, it's better late than never for her.
It absolutely is. I mean, Baltimore Kraken did not cave, and they've been granted another 5 minutes to keep themselves in this series. They took advantage of the opportunities when they received them, and it paid off now as they've taken their first game in this series, and we go to Game 5. Best of 7 here, but still the Philadelphia Plague only need one more game, only need one more 5 minutes. If they can get one goal and stay ahead, we'll have to see. The Baltimore Kraken again have a heavy task ahead of them, but they were able to perform when it mattered here in Game 4.
Well, let's see if Philly can put the icing on the cake this time, or if Baltimore is going to start to edge their way back into the series. It is a long road ahead for them to do it. But, I mean, Philly, they want to end this quick. They do not want to let another one slip away. Because, like I said, when you're on the receiving end of a potential reverse sweep, that is when the nerves start to get a little, you lose the first one. Okay, it's just one, boys. Let's shake it off. The second one, then the nerves get a little bit more in. You lose that one, then all of a sudden you're like, how did we get ourselves in this position? So Philly is going to want to avoid that at all cost. And here we go. 5 minutes on the clock. Now we are moving into game 5.
Zernite here and Mythic on the kickoff. This one decidedly into the Baltimore Kraken half, but Daffy will 50 it away. Leaf in now to pick it up. Will demo the defensive player. Leaf another demo here, creating some space. Leaf will turn, but his touch not very strong, unfortunately. Zernite's in this corner, but TK will pick up the boost and outplay him. TK now trying to send that one hard forward. Daffy gets the touch he needs, and the Baltimore Kraken do escape that one unscathed. Still a 0-0 game here. No goals in 30 seconds, but not for the Philadelphia Kraken's lack of trying. Another touch towards sent away by the Kraken. Now Zernite looking to 50 this one. Beats TK. Goes off the ceiling, whiffs the ball. Looks for a defender, but that one's over. Capsize. Daffy now has the carry, but can't fake out Mythic. Capsize looking for a conversion here. Leaf will pick up the boost, but not the ball, and that one's going to be into the net. Unfortunately, the final Kraken player could not get a touch. Absolutely the smallest of margins, but it is a play goal.
Mythic being just an absolute rock for this Philly team. Once again, he's just been an MVP all playoffs long, and that is a good way to get yourself back into this after letting the last game slip away from you. Leaf, right up the kickoff here, the sheet, gonna put that one towards the net. Good touch by Mythic up top, and Zernite met by Capsize. 50s goes straight down to Daffy. TK cutting him off instantly, but he's got no boost on the sidewall, so he's going to tap it down. Hopefully the Capsize. Daffy going to shut that one down instantly. Another 50 between Mythic. Capsize looking to move this one towards the net, but Baltimore keeping that one in harm's way as Leaf takes TK out on the back end to try and open up some space, but it does not work out in their favor.
Oh, and now we have a potential breakaway, a quick option there with the Philadelphia player on momentum, but it will be picked up by Leaf. Leaf outplaying 2. Capsize looking to get a bump onto Zernite, will be demoed for the effort by Leaf, who's I think picked up 4 or 5 already in the first minute here. Daffy's shot on the goal sent away by Capsize, but Zernite can pick it up. Zernite's touch now, a follow-up, but still sent away by Capsize. You see Capsize chasing Zernite out of his half there, just saying, hey, stay away from my teammates. That one, a floater into the upper 90, is sent away by Zernite, but the Philadelphia Plague are still coming. This breakaway, Mythic will give Leaf a taste of his own medicine, take him off the pitch for 3 seconds or so. Mythic now air dribbling forward into the midfield, beats one but does not beat Zernite. This game an awful lot of back and forth, but the Philadelphia Plague currently with an edge. Chaos.
Yeah, that was a crucial demo by Mythic. I mean, that was absolutely just clutch for him to get that, to make his life so much easier on the back end. Daffy gonna tap that one down. Zernite scooping it up here, goes for a flick up to midfield, redirected by Leaf towards the corner. Capsize gonna boom that one back upfield. And I mean, this server is starting to look a little bit shaky here, Fire. I don't know if you noticed the pings.
I'm noticing a little bit, but the players don't seem terribly affected yet. They haven't said anything so far. I've personally had the packet loss symbol on my screen for a while, but I also have a lousy connection. So I think we're still going at this point, and we still have the Philadelphia Plague on offense. Baltimore doing a good job of keeping things out as much as they can, but they're starting to grow low on boosts as the Philadelphia players secure more of them. Leaf there taking his own corner boost, and Zernite looking for a clear out, beats 1, maybe 2. But as I'm looking at the Baltimore players, I'm not seeing a lot in the tank, and my thing changes to Capsize. He's got 84 boost, taps a little bit, and picks up another 100. So the Philadelphia Plague definitely trying to suffocate the Baltimore Kraken here and get the boost advantage on them. Although the Baltimore Kraken have only let in 1, they're going to have to put in 1 themselves within this last minute and a half, or they will be out of contention, and the Philadelphia Plague will go on to the grand finals.
Oh, and a good follow-up here by Capsize to put in the insurance goal and get another goal. Philly with a 2-goal lead late in the game.
Yeah, that is another go-ahead here for the Philadelphia Plague. The players potentially memeing about the server a little bit, but still playing on, so I believe we are to play on here. The Baltimore Kraken are going to need 2 in a minute, and I don't think the Plague will let it happen, but we'll see. We have seen some great ones as well. Daffy already sinking one hard into the corner to put the Kraken on the board here in Game 5, as Leaf beats 2 on the wall, and Daffy beats the final defender. The Baltimore Kraken are, in fact, having the lead here. We are seeing some chat from admin. We will be resetting the lobby if the players request it. Leafs touch there, almost into an open net, but sent away by TK. 1 minute on the clock for the Kraken to get one, and that's going to be Zernite into the upper 90, and he will, in fact, tie this game for the Kraken.
Yeah, that is a back-to-back goals here by Baltimore to tie it up, just 2 unanswered in about 10-15 seconds consecutively. So absolutely huge for Baltimore. Now we have a tie game with a minute left. Mythic off the cheek, gotta put that one up top. Big save by Leaf. TK gonna put this one right back to where it came from. Almost identical placement on the crossbar. Big clear all the way downfield. Leaf trying to follow this one up, and he will dunk the Philly player up top. TK gonna beat Xernite, but Xernite getting enough of that one. Mythic putting that one back. Leaf's the only man back, and a huge save coming out by Leaf.
Yeah, that's play of this game so far for me by Leaf, although the follow-up is not going to be there, unfortunately. The brilliance of that play by Leaf, sending that one high and avoiding the bump when he was the final player, unfortunately missing the follow-up quickly, punished by the Philadelphia Plague. If the Baltimore Kraken want another crack at it, they're going to have to get another one here in 30 seconds. This server might be dying, though. We're seeing a bit of chat from admin, trying to figure out what to do as things are getting decisive and down to the wire. Daffy's touch here off the board. Zernite turning but beaten. Leaf here at midfield trying to pick one up. Going for a follow. TK will send it away, and it's over the head of Daffy, who secures that boost. Tries the back pass, and TK does not reach that one. Mythic will pick it up here in midfield. 10 seconds on the clock. Daffy sends this one forward. TK's touch here into the corner. Beats Daffy over to the midfield. Leaf picking this one up. Daffy's touch outward. I believe it will drop. And this is a best of 7. Is it not, Cass?
Yep, that is it. Philly will move on. I mean, a little bit of a weird experience halfway through the game. I mean, there was a minute and 30 seconds left when the server started to kind of die there a little bit. And I mean, I think it affected or benefited Baltimore perhaps more than anybody, because they were the ones to get 2 goals right after they said something about it and tied it up, and then Philly with the late goal in the end. So I don't know how much of an effect any of that really had on it all, but I think they're going to be talking about it, but I'm pretty sure there was no disconnect. Philly had the lead at one point. Baltimore tied it. I think the end result here is Philly is your Eastern Conference champions here, and they will be moving on.
Yeah, like we're seeing here, admin calling this one the rule book. If there's no disconnect, the series result stands, and that will be the Philadelphia Plague, your Eastern Conference Finals winner, going ahead to the season finals. We'll be seeing who they play just shortly, as we'll be coming into the Western Conference final game very quickly here. So stay with us here at United Rogue as we reach here the end of the season 11 season.
We stand and watch the world go up in flames. We fight for love until we die in vain. When the sky is getting dark and we're broken in our hearts, when we build our own demise, from the ashes we will rise. When the world is falling down, will you be my solid ground? When the world is falling down, will you be my solid ground? Be my solid ground. We look off the edge till the waves come crashing in, and we say our goodbyes to the tides that might have been. When the sky is getting dark and we're broken in our hearts, when we build our own demise, from the ashes we will rise. When the world is falling down, will you be my to Boston, lives in a world she's lost in, victim of compromise. He's staring at her Aberdeen heart, London eyes, Glasgow bones. She's a whistle in the catacombs, a paradox. He's in love with the statue in a marble block. He's in love with the girl that time forgot. She just shakes her ears. She's falling too far with salt in her scars. Won't let him taste her tears. She's falling too far. The girl that time forgot. Wasted moments, full of potential atonement, an angel in disguise. But he can see her Aberdeen heart, London eyes, Glasgow bones. She's a whistle in the catacombs, a paradox. Oh, he's in love with the statue in a marble block. He's in love with the girl that time forgot. She just shakes her ears. She's falling too far with salt in her scars. Won't let him taste her tears. She's falling too far. The girl that time forgot. That time forgot. The girl that time You let her go, catacombs. You let her go, let her go, catacombs. You let her go. She just shakes her ears. She's falling too far with salt in her scars. Won't let him taste her tears. She's falling too far.
Welcome back, everyone, to the final games and series of the season, of the 11th season of United Rogue Ramen Bowl. I am Far Out. He is Chaos Spike with me. We just watched the Philadelphia Plague become the Eastern Conference Finals winners, but now we are looking over to the West. Chaos, it's the Denver Scream versus the San Antonio Revenge. Chaos, what do you know about these two franchises?
Yeah, this is huge for the Western Conference Finals here. I mean, the winner of this team has to play that Philly team, which looked absolutely scary. And I mean, looking at Mixed's notes that he left in the encyclopedia he likes to write up for us, East has 23 victories in total, and West only has 10. So usually East teams do win, so West has to bring their best. That being said, Sar is being picked by power rankings with a slight edge 2-1 here against Denver. It's going to be close. It's going to be really, really close. You're going to want to watch out for Emilio and Trill on one side. The other side, Tokyo, Repos, if he's popping off, he is absolutely dangerous, and Tater will be looking to fill the gap. So these two teams going to be really neck and neck. Let's get them on the field. Let's get everybody ready for what they're here to see, because this is going to be really, really good.
Yeah, this one's definitely going to be an interesting one. The Western Conference Finals here to see who can secure their place in our season grand finals later tonight versus that Philadelphia Plague squad we just watched take down the Baltimore Kraken in 5. Although, at the start of this one, it's going to be Denver. Tater over to Repose. Unfortunately, his touch a little bit awkward. Tokyo looking for the double tap, goes off the board, and Tater will come in here. His touch high as well, sent away by Don. Potentially Repos in taking this one out of midfield and over to Tater, but sent away by Emilio the Gamer. This first 30 seconds, Chaos, all the Denver Scream.
Yeah, Denver, couple huge demos simultaneously. It was kill followed up by double kill there, and that broke out all the pressure that Sar had on the counter attack. Tater touching that one to the ceiling. Emilio looking to read that one. Gonna tap it down. Tokyo's there. Gets dunked though. Emilio is gonna look to take this one off the wall. This guy is fast. I remember the other week, this guy was all over the place and a key component to their victory. Trill gonna wrap that one up top. Gonna try and get a touch. Does not. Tokyo will be there to meet it. Don moving in. Runs into Tokyo. Repos looking to get a little bit of a clear here. It's a weak touch though, so Tokyo will follow it up.
The first minute here going by quietly. Both these teams keeping their nets clean at least, but it's Denver now once again. Repos, nair roll shot sent away by Trill, and Emilio will look to transition. Don now forward, Trill up as well. Trill's touch sent away by Tater. Don looking for another follow-up. Tokyo tasked with the clear, and he does get it. Tater taking Emilio out of the midfield. Tokyo now on the ball, but no boost, and Trill's gonna send that one away. Tater picking it up as well now out of the midfield towards mid. Don's going to get a touch and beat 2. Trill beating Tokyo here in the midfield. Now Trill flicks 1. Tater's touch to the corner, knocked back by Trill. A demo by Tokyo to relieve some pressure. Denver now on defense, but holding on still as the second minute goes by quietly.
Yeah, approaching 3 minutes here, and both teams deadlocked at 0, but Denver looking to be the team that's had more of the opportunities so far. Trill gonna try and cut that off early. Emilio trying to round it around the corner in front of the net, but just all of Denver is there waiting. They're gonna have to do a little bit better than that. Trill, quick touch back to the corner. I mean, this ball just keeps going to the corner far, and that's about as far as it goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's an absolute lock. The San Antonio Revenge cannot get that one any closer to the Denver net. Potentially a mirror of what we saw in the last series. One team holding strong on defense, but usually something has to give. San Antonio here now. Don looking for a pass back. Tokyo will pick it up, and the San Antonio player will commit. Tater now sending one towards that net, but picked up and sent away by Trill. Repos now. 50's Trill rather than the ball, and Don will send that one forward. Trill up for the redirect. Shot goes wide. Don's touch up high. Repos tasked with the clear over to Tokyo. It's a transition outward. Tokyo now has 1 to beat and beats Trill hard into the upper 90. The Denver Scream scoring first.
Beautiful, clean, simple flick here by Tokyo. Takes a second to catch it. flicks it on net when Trill is trying to get back there and just could not. He was just too speedy, and just that second that he takes to slow it down really threw him off as he's just charging through the back post rotation. So there's a goal right after the halfway mark into the game. So the pretty clutch here by Denver. But I mean, Saar had I think 3 missed opportunities back to back that they probably would have liked to have. And we have a Rule 1 lockup on the sidewall there. It looks like it's Tater and Trill.
Yeah, this game momentarily becoming a game of doubles. You oftentimes like to see the respect, neither player wanting to break, and the remaining players deciding they would rather play doubles than break the players free of their own accord. I'm on director cam. I can't see if that's happened yet, but the last I checked, those two were still locked up on the wall. Repost now, sending one towards. Looks to beat Milio, but Milio's touch is strong. Tokyo now up, beaten by Don, and Repost is still there. This one maybe a breakaway for San Antonio, bouncing off the Rule 1 players, and for that, Tokyo's going to reach that one first. The players on Denver here grateful for that Rule 1 on the sidewall. It allowed them to get the save.
Yeah, that actually bounced off the back of Tater's car, I think. And if that went in, that would have technically been an own goal, I guess. But it did not go in, so everything avoided. A little bit of a team bump here by Repos and Tokyo. I mean, who is the better twos team here? Don and Emilio. No, it is broke up. We are back to 3v3 standard here. Tater gonna move that one towards the sidewall. Trill hammering that one down to Don. He can't read that one. And Repo is gonna put that one all the way back down where Emilio will slow it down to get it clear. We are approaching 30 seconds left. Saar is gonna want to strike soon.
Yeah, it's not a bad way to go in game 1 to play that Rule 1, but now it is Saar tasked with tying things up as that infield touch to Milio is going to be a hard redirect, and Saar will answer back with 23 seconds on the clock. The Rule 1 did not take any wind out of their sails.
What an absolute shot by Milio. Top 90. I mean, you can't place that any more perfect, and the speed on it too. So that is absolutely clutch and just a beautiful goal at that. Emilio gonna read this one off the sheet here, gonna try and double it, and he will down as the misread on the backboard is gonna cost Denver.
You know, that's another absolutely clean play from Milio, the double tap beating Tater. Chaos, when you talk about speed on the previous goal, 82 miles per hour for that redirect into the goal for Milio, and now the double tap, not too technically or visually impressive, but it's what San Antonio are gonna need. And now Tater carrying this one out, Repos. Denver Scream have 10 seconds to put one in. Trill on the backboard's gonna send it away. The clock ticking down. Tokyo picks one up, looks to beat Don, but Don is wise to it. Beats 2 in the midfield, and that one's gonna go back into this half. Fall down, and the Saar steal game 1 off the beautiful double tap from Milio.
Yeah, I mean, that is highly unfortunate for Denver. They had the game for so long, and then that absolute banger by Milio, the tied up, huge. And then the misread by Tater on the back wall, and then the square up for the double tap by Milio. Just, I mean, Milio ended up winning that game by himself, technically speaking, but Saar definitely played pretty good. A little bit sloppy early on, and Denver looked so strong, but they turned it on when it mattered most at the end.
You know, this was an extremely eventful game, Chaos. This game had Rule 1s, it had demos, it had double taps, it had redirects. But when things come down to it, although the Denver Scream scored first, the San Antonio Revenge did steal game 1. So we're going to have to see what they can bring to the table here. If there's any more two-car lockups and a few moments of doubles gameplay, or if we're going to stay business as usual, we'll be finding out rather shortly. The Denver Scream looking to tie this series.
Yeah, and the shots were pretty even. I mean, they were dead even, actually. 7 shots to 7. But, you know, it all came down to just that late game push by San Antonio. And like I said, you can't sleep on Milio. He is just too fast on the pitch. When I casted him last, by far the speediest guy out there. He's all over the place. His positioning is good. This guy knows what he's doing. So he is the guy that Denver has to work to shut down, whereas Tokyo is the guy that they're on the opposite foot, where San Antonio is going to be looking to shut him down. But Repos, he's popped off throughout the playoffs and been an absolute pillar for this team as well. So I kind of want to see him have another just outstanding game on his end. But we will see how game 2 goes. We'll throw 5 minutes on the clock. Let's get it.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of strength from both squads early on. It seemed like San Antonio barely stole game 1 off that double tap, but now the Denver Scream have another 5 minutes on the clock, and they're only down one game. Don, a whiff there in the corner. Looked like Tokyo was there as well to pick up that ball, and Repose now looking to beat Trill, but Trill will clear one. No boost for him to pick up, and Tokyo will dunk him, but Milio now outward to Trill, into midfield, over to Don. Shots on target, a double commit, but Tater will get the save, and Tokyo looking to clear this one out. San Antonio starting this game out on offense.
Big touch up top, gonna drop. I don't think anybody was ready for that. Don, the slow floater, double tap. Milio's gonna follow it up, and there it is. Another goal for San Antonio.
Yeah, the numbers game playing in favor of San Antonio here. Don's double tap cleared, but Milio up fast enough to beat the two defenders and put that one in. A 420 goal, and San Antonio strike first.
Yeah, they're going to put themselves in a lead here and just continue the trend that they started at the end of last game. I mean, just a complete awakening of the team so late into last game to carry it over into this. They're showing no signs of slowing down. Don, quick follow-up here. Trill's going to tap it up top. Tater's got this one read this time, all the way back down. Tokyo going to get beat to the ball here by Milio, the speedy man himself. No boost left as he tries to push that one forward. Denver getting kind of stalled out here early on.
Well, they are, but this ball potentially still up on offense. Trill tasked with making a zero boost save. Milio up and Trill as well. Don, now the third man, sends this one forward. Milio demoing Tater off the off the corner boost. And this ball has transitioned now. San Antonio on offense. Repose wanting that boost, but is tasked to leave it and clear this ball instead. Now, ball up and down. Tater again. Trill on the sidewall, beats one. Has some of that boost, beats two, but it's Repose who sends that one away. Tater now trying to beat Don, but Don is too strong in that midfield. Milio up, beats two. Tater now, or Repose. Tater waiting on Repose, and Repose will clear that ball. Trill now into the corner, carrying this one out. Touch from Tater. The ball has transitioned back, Chaos, and it's Denver with some opportunities yet again.
Yeah, they're being outshot 5-1, but it really feels like they've had more than one shot, so just not a lot of connected to be counted for it. Good boost pick up here by Tater. He's going to try and turn on that. Milio's there first, though. Move that one back towards mid. Tokyo firing that one towards the net. Trill going to try and get a clear here, but Denver starting to mount a pretty good presence here in front of the net. Repose trying to pass that one across. Cut up by Milio. This is a 1v1 versus Tokyo. Big save coming in by Tokyo, but he needs help. Tater goes up, gets a touch. Trill will bury it, though. 2-0 San Antonio.
Yeah, I mean, as that ball goes high, the choice to soar up instead of taking the wall may have cost Tater and the Denver squad there, as Trill's just in a position to extend that San Antonio lead. 1 second shy of halftime. Antonio Revenge are in the lead.
They get the insurance goal at the halfway mark. Now Denver is looking down a 2-goal deficit here in game 2. They really want to work at shutting that gap down and not going down 2 games in the series early on. Don up top, going to get that one by 1. Backwall defense by Repose, look pretty sharp, but still in the corner here. So Trill moving that one back around. But again, huge bump here to clear the way, but Tokyo getting the carry all the way up to midfield, but Don pre-jumping to shut that down. Another touch here into the corner, and that one, Tokyo going to carry all the way down the field. Milio going to cut that one off. Tater's up top. Good chance, but he swings and misses on that one. Milio going for a quick hookser down the field. Could not connect. Trill and Don kind of tangled up top here. Going to leave them with a little bit of a spot here. Tater firing it down, and a good save by Milio. Denver trying to get something going once again.
Yeah, it is Denver here trying to take advantage of every option they've got, but San Antonio holding strong on the goal line. Their defensive rotations tight, their transition plays outward. It seems like the possession has been pretty decisively in the hands of San Antonio as Milio drops another one down. Don in for the follow-up at 50 on the goal line by Repose. Trill here collects the boost, looking to turn, but not really in any rush with the 2-goal lead. An infield pass over to Milio and potentially a follow-up by Trill. But the Denver Scream here still just on their back foot to stave off this offensive push.
Another quick shot on there by Sire, turned aside. Denver doing pretty good on the defensive end here, but they need to get some offense going. They've been on the back foot most of this game. Milio gonna tap that one down, gonna try and follow this one up. Fakes out Repost, the shot just wide. Tater getting a touch off the back wall to try and get the clear, but unfortunately the Trill's there to keep it in. San Antonio again starting to smother the Scream here in their own end as Don will try and feed Milio. This one pitches up and down. Time running out here, 2-0 still San Antonio.
Yeah, and that fake on the goal line you mentioned is such a strong play. Goes to show you how in control the San Antonio Revenge are of their possession. They're able to make the Denver players think they're shooting if they're not. They're able to take the boost and beat them to the ball. Tokyo sends one high here, but Don just waiting on the backboard to clear it. Game 2 is going to go to San Antonio decisively, a bit more, a little bit stronger than Game 1 did, Chaos.
Yeah, San Antonio looked pretty good in that match. Denver's going to have to do a little bit of reassessing here. Take, the full 60 and talk about what happened. But, I mean, San Antonio controlled the midfield and just trapped them in their zone constantly. Denver was just always under pressure and couldn't really... They had a few good opportunities, but it just really felt like San Antonio did a good job at shutting down any opportunity before it even began for Denver. So they're going to have to do something here, Fair.
Yeah, I definitely think the San Antonio Revenge controlled the midfield here. 8 shots to 3 in favor of the Revenge and a savior medal for Denver on behalf of Tokyo. It goes to show just how smothered the Denver players were in their half. We'll have to see here in Game 3 if they're able to secure their corner boosts and take this fight back to the midfield, because they're going to have to swing this momentum in their favor if they want to take Game 3. So far, this series 2-0 for the San Antonio Revenge.
Yeah, and I mean, the predictions from the power ranking crew, 2 people picking the San Antonio Revenge to come up here with the victory, and only 1 picking Denver. And looking at the score lines they picked, it was pretty unanimous. It was 4-1 San Antonio, 4-2 San Antonio. And then the win for Denver was decided by thumbs at a 4-3 full Game 7 victory. So, I mean, the stats definitely leaning pretty heavily towards San Antonio. But, I mean, I got to be rooting for the underdog here.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a nice thing you like to see. A team is able to come back from these odds and, overtake the opposition. But right now, San Antonio Revenge are ahead in this series 2-0. Repos into this corner, steals the boost, looking for a bump on goal line. Tokyo up here as well, and Repos will rotate in. But unfortunately, there is no player rotating quick enough. As I say it, the shot comes in. Repos' touch just posts and out. Both Denver players who had pushed up there just a little too close to the ball to turn that one hard enough. Tater now up as well. Repos and Tokyo in tow. This touch off the ceiling. One of the Denver players looking for a bump, but Milio over to Trill can clear this one out of the midfield. Tokyo now a save over to Tater, who's looking to pick it up, but it's Tokyo again tasked with it. Milio looking to bump one off. A double commit from Denver here, and as Trill sends this one forward, it's the San Antonio Revenge once again.
Great clear here, but unfortunately it just gives possession right back to San Antonio unless they follow it up, and they do. Tokyo gonna slow it down, get by Trill. He's at no boost, taken on the sidewall here. Approaching the 1 minute in mark and still deadlocked at 0. Denver trying to get something going here. I see car changes out there by Tater. He's at the Fennec now. Could not get the double tap off the backboard, unfortunately. Milio moving that one up the field. Tokyo gonna send that one mid. Tater side flipping, unfortunately, unless he was going for the bump, but that was definitely a pass to his direction and not well received.
It's tough to say if that... Oh, well, as we say it, Tater putting in, I believe, his first this series off the hood of that Fennec. You mentioned the car change. It's hard to tell if the minute differences in turning radius affected him on that side flip or whether he just missed that infield pass. But either way, it will be the Denver Scream on the board first here in Game 3. Their first ounce of momentum, it seems like. We'll see if they can keep it as Repos' shot crossbar out and down off the kickoff. They're going to wish he had that one back. But the Denver Scream here in position to keep an offensive push going. Repos' touch goes a little bit awkward, and Tokyo's tasked with picking it up. But the San Antonio Revenge Chaos are going to be all over this one quick.
Tater making a good save here, but he's got no boost, so he'll need a little bit of help, and he gets it by Repos. Tater getting a great 50 here, dunking the San Antonio member all the way back to his own net. Trill up top to try and read this one. Great touch forward into the corner. Tokyo putting that one straight back, and Trill gonna fire it across. This is gonna give a lot of space at midfield for Denver, but a shut down instantly by San Antonio, which turns into a counterattack by Don, but it's turned aside by Tater.
Yeah, and that touch as well from Repos. Getting to that ball first, although he's on the wrong side of it. A well-timed double jump straight up puts him on the right side of it and keeps the Denver Scream ahead, shutting down any option any cheating San Antonio player would have had. Tokyo flicks one here, a double commit out of the midfield, but Repos looking for the dunk, gets a double, and Trill sends it away. But that's a look in the right direction for Repos and the Denver Scream as they're on offense here. They're going to have to make these opportunities count. Milio dunks another, and Trill clears over the midfield. A touch from Repos here. Back into the half, but taken by Trill, and over to Tokyo, who's rotated. The Denver Scream may have to look for each other a little bit closer, play a little bit tighter and close to the ball if they want to connect, because the San Antonio players are fast and accurate all over this pitch.
Yeah, I like the quality of chances that Denver's put up this game compared to the last. They look a lot more sharper out there. They've been a lot more creative with their touches and all their opportunities here, and it's resulted in a small lead. They want to build on them. They're going to try to here. Tater opting to go for the air 50-50. Could not get the touchdown. Don gets credit with the save. Emilio going to chase this one down. He's looking for the pass on the right. Cut off by Tater. 50 going back. Tokyo going for the doink. Could not get that one. Unfortunately, that would have been huge. Repo is going to bounce that off the corner all the way out to Tokyo. Going for a quick flip. And he is dunked instantly by Don. So San Antonio starting to be very fast on the pitch again, shutting down and getting in the face of Denver whenever they can.
Yeah, they've got a minute to make it back into this game, but the Denver Scream on their side have a minute to keep this game in their half and put in their secure their first this series. Milio's flip reset goes across the Denver goal and past two defenders. Repo's in position, playing patient with a full tank of boost, outplays Don, but Milio is there in tow. Tokyo redirect off the backboard, picked up by Trill. All three Denver Scream players in that corner now. Milio for the San Antonio Revenge out of his half. Trill up, beats one in the midfield. Tokyo now tasked for a touch. It's a little bit awkward. Tater has beat one, uses his boost to follow it out and pass the final San Antonio player. Milio bumps him for good measure, but Milio now looking to outplay Tokyo. Tokyo keeps it calm. Don playing up a little bit close. The Denver Scream may have escaped a tie game in that option, Chaos.
Yeah, and there's just no space being given by any team here. Like, they're instantly challenging each other. They have no room to start any play with whatsoever in front of the goal line. Trill, quick shot, big save coming in by Repos. Don D'Emilio, quick shot again. Stopped by Repos, putting up the defensive wall in front of the net. Tokyo gonna take to the air here to shave off some time, carrying that one back into the corner. Trill flipping that one up top. Don's going to read this one, pass out the mid. Emilio's looking for the redirect here, and this is huge as it's still live in front of the net. Trilio putting it down, but Tokyo, huge save in the dying seconds. Denver will take game 3.
Yeah, the strong wall here from Denver staying strong, and they're more than content to save your medals on behalf of the Denver Scream. They're more than happy to keep their 1-goal lead and use it to take game 3. They're first in this series, and as we enter game 4, things a little bit closer than they were at the start of this one, Chaos. The Denver Scream decisively taking their first.
Yeah, this is really reminiscent to the Denver team I saw in the wild card round. They were a very counterattack after the other team did their work and punish the other team. I mean, they had 9 saves here, and that's what they did in that wildcard round. They mounted up a ton of saves. They were very confident in playing defense and knew that they would not get scored on. So they just absolutely got pelted. They got outshot almost every game by like a huge ton. And they won pretty handedly too. Now, when they played Portland in the second round, it was a different Denver team. They tried to play a lot more aggressive, and they rightfully did so quite well. And I think that's what they started to do against San Antonio here in game 1 and 2, and it didn't work out too well. So they're kind of reverting back to that other play style, which seems to complement them pretty well against the San Antonio team.
Chaos, I think you're definitely right. As I look at that scoreboard, 12 shots in favor, 12 shots on the side of the San Antonio Revenge, only 6 for the Denver Scream, and this was a 1-goal game. For their 6 shots, the Denver Scream kept the San Antonio Revenge absolutely scoreless. They may be looking to do the same thing here as Tater clears one, looks to take a defender out, but Trill treats up fast. Now Trill looking to beat Tokyo. Tokyo clears this one out over to, I believe it was Tater. That one's high up and down and in off the ceiling. A certified floater will go in. The Denver Scream scoring first in game 4, ceiling and down. That one's a sharp one.
Absolute field goal. I mean, he scored from his goal line basically 19 seconds in the game. So Tater starting to like really do some work here for the team, because he's got a couple in the series here now, and they've only scored 3 in total. So I mean, he's doing a lot of the offensive work here so far. Melio getting a little bit of an unorthodox touch there in the corner to keep that away. Melio getting challenged, getting a good 50, but followed up by Repos on goal. Trill making a good save. Don firing the return upfield. Melio the redirect. I mean, this guy has a sharp eye to get up midfield and put those on net. We've seen him score them in this game from just ridiculous angles.
Yeah, there's been a lot of it from Melio, and there as he's tasked to make the touch on that one. He does. Don's touch a little bit awkward in front of the line. Will go away and over to Trill on the transition, but I definitely think you're right. We've seen a lot of strong plays out of the midfield by Melio. Unfortunately, though, the Denver Scream are still in the lead here. Repos now into the corner, gets bumped by Don. Trill's touch here, answered by Repos, who may have a quick one to shoot at, but lets Tokyo come in. Tokyo fakes one, draws out a double commit with the San Antonio Revenge here. Still looking as it's Melio as well, picking that one up just outside the goal box and looking for a carry. Trill's touch rings hard, bar down and out. Don now up as well, but Tater is there to send away the following shot from Melio. The Denver Scream's defense still holding strong on this 1-goal lead in Game 4. A mirror image of what we just saw in 3.
Yeah, and San Antonio's just doing what they can to try and create opportunities, but, you know, Denver's really changed up their play style here, and it's working very, very good in their favor. Trill has 3 shots on goal right now, but nothing to show for it. Don gonna put that one at midfield. Repos gets kind of fakes that one off perhaps. Melio's gonna try and tuck that one behind. Tokyo, great save. Repos gonna control this one, and Bob gets it by Trill. Could be nobody back. Melio racing back, and Don's gonna cut in for a little bit of support here. Tater demoing one up the post, to follow up by Repos, and there Denver is just awakened all of a sudden.
Yeah, this strong play, the demo out of the corner, and then I think maybe Tater going for the bump on the following defender. Didn't matter though. Whoever took that first shot, opening everything up, posts and into the center for the third man to come in and finish it up. A 2-goal lead here, almost a third, but the following shooter was knocked off of the kickoff. Tokyo now here with Melio. 50 Zimba bumps him out of the way for good measure. Trill and Don up now for this one. Repos into the corner, but not afraid to take on 2 San Antonio defenders as we cross halftime. This Game 4 has been all Denver Scream.
Oh, that touch all the way back. Don up early to read that one. Melio gets an absolute dunk on Tokyo. Repo's going to be last until Tater can get back, and he cannot get back in time. I was worried about that when I saw it all developing. I definitely saw Tater trying to get back post, but I didn't think he was going to get there in time. And there it is. They've cut the lead down by 1.
Yeah, and that's going to be out of that corner. A solo play by Melio de Gamer. His touch stealing and down, and he takes it out of the air before it drops to get that nice sharp angle inside the corner. The San Antonio Revenge have halved the lead here, but they're going to have to put in another one. Tokyo clearing, and the demo from Repos is going to make it a little bit difficult. Tokyo in for the shot. Tater 50ing 2 in midfield and winning it, but this one now for San Antonio. Don's touch, a floater over to Melio, shut down by Tater. Don's still there, and Don's touch barred down, out, and sent away by Repos as Tater bumps and disturbs the following shooter. This transition now for the Denver Scream.
Oh, golden opportunity there by Tokyo. Could not put that one down in time. Big clear. Melio again up for the redirect at midfield. Bar down. Tokyo couldn't get the read. And I thought it was in, just skimming the inside part of the crossbar. And now they're got their backs to the wall in front of their net. Double commit up top. Repos trying to buy some time here. I think they're boostless here. They're getting trapped in their end here. A lot of pressure mounting, and it's only a matter of time. There it is, the tie goal by Don.
That infield pass works well enough for the San Antonio Revenge. Past Tater, sneaking it inside that post between Tokyo and the post there. A tie game for the Revenge. Only one of very few the Denver Scream have let in, but that one will tie the game. Melio cheating up here on the kickoff and looking to beat one, but leaves that ball for Trill. Trill's air dribble bumps one, but Tokyo can send this one away. Repos now, and Tater up, looking to play spoiler. Tater's going to doink that one, but beaten by Don as Melio turns on a dime, wave dashes into the ball, or maybe just saves it. Has one to use as Trill comes in now. Repos' touch goes forward, but isolated by Don. The San Antonio Revenge answering back here. 45 seconds. We're going to see what they can bring to the Denver half.
Oh, good good touch there by Trill, but Tater, a great read, gonna try and carry it the whole way down, gets the 50 off the Emilio, and in Denver, sneaking back into this, and again, it's Tater with another goal.
Yeah, I mean, I feel Tater diagonally air rolling towards the goal hard enough on that one to bounce it off and past Emilio. The Denver Scream, another go-ahead goal here with 36 seconds. If this is reminiscent of anything they did in Game 3, they're going to keep this one-goal lead at all costs. Tater looking to flick Trill on the goal line or bump him. Tokyo up for the double tap, but all San Antonio players playing a little bit carefully, waiting for that shot to come in. Tater, challenged by Emilio. Repos takes out Don, who was waiting for the rebound to go into the midfield. Emilio's touch now, a floater high up. Tokyo up, beats Trill off that one. And one player goes below Repos, who's challenged. 8 seconds on the clock. The final defender dunked out, and San Antonio will tie Game 4.
Yeah, I saw right when that ball landed in between Don and Emilio, there was only one man back, and it was Tater, and it was just not going to be a good time for him, especially after the last bump play. So Tater getting knocked out of contention there, and then the tying goal put in. 6 seconds left here, and it's looking like potential overtime unless Emilio can shut it down in regulation. They cannot, so we have overtime in Game 4.
This one absolutely as close as the first one was. This kickoff, one in favor of San Antonio. Tokyo's touch goes stealing and down. Emilio with the double tap. Emilio securing Game 4 and putting the San Antonio Revenge on match point. The beautiful showcase from Emilio.
Yeah, that is just a momentum killer right there. I mean, Denver doing such a good job all game, and I really felt like they were going to take this one. Then all of a sudden, it slipped away from them, and now they're going to be face down at match point all of a sudden. So it's just a real huge momentum swing I did not see coming.
I think you're definitely right, and it goes to show just how individually skilled the San Antonio Revenge players are. It looks like 14 shots to 9 in favor of the San Antonio Revenge, but yet another one-goal game, a Savior medal for Trill and one for Tokyo. This series really coming down to who can be fast enough to make the solo plays count, and right now, the name on that game is all Emilio.
Yeah, Emilio was definitely the MVP in that game, and most of the games he's having just an absolute phenomenal playoff run here, and continues to show it and showing why their team is doing so good. Tokyo doing a lot of defensive work there, though. He's top of the scoreboard with 0 goals. He had 2 assists, 4 saves, and 2 shots. I mean, he was doing so much work all over the field, and just because he didn't have any goals to show for it doesn't really mean that he wasn't doing much, because, I mean, he was setting up plays, he was defending the net, like, he was all over the place, and I'd say it was definitely one of the MVPs there, even though Tater definitely had most of the offensive pressure and kept them in the game the longest.
Yeah, I mean, as we're here on match point, as in these Western Conference finals, the San Antonio Revenge looking to take it and punch their ticket to the finals versus the Philadelphia Plague. 5 more minutes on the clock and all eyes on the Denver Scream. Tokyo wins that kickoff hard, and Emilio's touch, I thought he'd lost control, but he seemed to invert out of that one, and I don't think he had a flip, but he kept control there. A strong mechanical play. A following shot by Tokyo sent away by Don as the Denver Scream start this game on offense, but the San Antonio Revenge quickly looked to transition.
Yeah, the Denver Scream staring down at match point here. They cannot lose this one or the season's over. San Antonio, they're looking pretty antsy if they want to shut this down early, and Emilio looking to do it there. Comes up just empty-handed, though. We don't see him miss that one too often. Trill getting bumped off the ball there. Repos bumping another one. The physicality coming up by the Scream here, just ramming everybody into the net. Tokyo could not get to that one. Emilio will get 2 more touches upfield here as Trill and Emilio kind of combined to make that one work around the corner in front of the net. San Antonio starting to mount a little bit of pressure here on the counterattack.
Yeah, they were, and that was Trill breathing down Emilio's neck in that corner. Potentially a little bit too close for the San Antonio players. Repos' shot is going to go high and wide, collected by Emilio, but Tokyo now in for one. Demos one as Trill makes the save. Tokyo looking for a boost steal as Tater collects this one into the corner. Trill will 50 him, but Trill's got no boost to follow this one. A potential mishap on defense for the Denver players rotating back, and Trill is allowed to send that one towards the net with no boost. Another touch by him, but picked up by Tokyo. Over to Repos. The redirect towards net is on target, but sent away by Emilio. as another demo comes in by Tokyo onto Trill. The Denver Scream have come out of the gate swinging, Chaos. They do not want to lose this game. They cannot afford to.
Yeah, and Trill's going to try and strike first here, but he is shut down early. Don retreating back here, scoops up the boost, going to get the touch off the backboard, straight down in front. He's got to be careful. Emilio did cut that off, but Tater was there. Repos not able to make that touch. This one straight back. Everybody kind of bunched up by Denver there. Their positioning getting a little bit clustered here and looking a little erratic. Tokyo up top, gonna try and get a touchdown, but Emilio, he's just all over the place right now and being the difference maker.
I mean, we're seeing the San Antonio Revenge take into their back foot a little bit. Although they're transitioning these balls out of their half, it seems that individually the Denver Scream is taking the play to them in hard. Tater stealing a boost here. Repos up looking to get the touch to keep the ball offensive. Now, one player over to Tokyo on the side wall. Tokyo's got his flip, but goes for the defender instead, and Milio can isolate that ball, taking the boost canister with him. Tater dunks him hard, looking for the double tap kill. He had the shot on, but Trill's gonna send it away. Don now looking for the in and out save. The shot from Tater is towards net, but it's just a little bit weak. Don, see, the San Antonio players are just a little bit awkward. They're not expecting the Denver Scream to come at them with full force, Chaos, and that's exactly what the Denver players are doing.
Yeah, and that 50 is pretty huge. Going up top, Tater trying to square it up. He had it lined up, but oh my, what a save coming in there. And here's Repos, gonna take to the skies here. Only 30 boost to work with. Gonna opt for the 50, does not get it. Emilio gonna slow things down, take it around town here, going for a quick mustard off the sidewall, double tap down, but kept out by Denver.
The Scream once again keeping their net clean. Another touch from Tater forward. Another save by Repos off the shot from Trill. 0-0 as we look to enter the final minute. The Denver Scream playing for their chance at a portion of that prize pool and a ticket to the grand finals we'll be watching later. Don demos one, but is demoed for his efforts. Tater coming across to 50. Emilio the gamer bumps him off the ball, and Tokyo did not expect it, but Tokyo onto the ceiling. He's got boost. He inverts one. The shot goes on, but Trill takes it away. This ball to the corner now. Don looking to isolate. One player behind him bumped as Tater comes in. The Denver Scream firing on all throttles here. Tokyo's shot towards, sent away by Don. San Antonio players double committing though as Tater keeps it offensive. Chaos. The Denver Scream are all over this play.
Oh, the redirect by Trill trying to find the one up top. The rebound by Don will find the back of the net at 38 seconds left. San Antonio has pulled ahead by 1 goal.
It's the toughest position that Denver players could possibly have been in. The absolute screamer by Don sent towards the net, and although a Denver player got a touch on it, it was not strong enough. 36 seconds on the clock for the Scream to tie this one up. Repos looking to bump Milio the gamer and take him out of the play. He beats 2. Tater now looking to isolate, but Don's touch goes high. Milio's up for the redirect, and Repos is tasked with waiting on the shot. San Antonio on offense, and they've got 20 seconds to go here. Don looking, Milio, Repos, they're all in this corner. Trill waiting strong as a third man to keep this play out. 10 seconds on the clock. Tater picks up the ball. He's got boost. He's beaten by Milio. One player looked to be dunked off by Tokyo as this ball goes back into the half. It's up. Trill sends one high. Milio's up for the follow. It's backboard. He gets another touch. It's sent away, but there's only a San Antonio player there, and that will be Chaos. The Western Conference Finals. San Antonio have punched their ticket to the Grands.
San Antonio is definitely indeed the Western Conference champions. Will be moving on to play the Philadelphia Plague. Now, there'll be a short break in between this game and the next to let San Antonio cool down. But I'm curious, since they just finished up, is it going to be more to their favor that they're warmed up, or a disadvantage for Philly to be kind of sitting here for a little bit? Any thoughts on that part?
Well, I mean, Chaos, I definitely would hope for Philly's sake that they're chilling in free play or custom training, whatever they're doing to keep themselves warm. They know they've got this break for whoever won this series before going into the grand finals. So both these teams are going to be looking to come into that all season encompassing final match as warm as they possibly can. But San Antonio are definitely going to be looking to keep their momentum from this game going into that final match.
Yes, indeed. So it's going to probably be about a 10-15 minute break in between this and the grand finale for the big prize pool. But it will be the San Antonio, the 4th seed from the Western Conference, playing the 1st seed from the Eastern Conference, the Philadelphia Plague. Stick around. I've been Chaos Spike, and it has been Far Out with me, and Shackles behind the scene in Orlando, making all those pretty lobbies. See you in a little bit.
chapter, every stolen kiss, every late night walk, every secret wish, every second chance, every time we dance underneath the light of street lamp.
Nobody said it'd be easy, but we took a train to the ceiling. And now I'm high on all of my feelings. Don't wake me up from this dream. I bought a one-way ticket to space. Let's get out of here. I heard you, but it's nice this time of year. Out in the wild, find our eating. Let's stay a while, never leaving. Sound the alarm in my heart. We're taking off. Sound the alarm in my heart. We're taking off. Don't let go, I want your body around, all around, all around. Sound the alarm in my heart. We're taking off. Found you in all of the madness. I heard your voice in the static. Your skin on my skin like a magnet. I won't look down when we crash. I bought a one-way ticket to space. Let's get out of here. I heard you, but it's nice this time of year. You turn my world on its axis. Out here where anything happens. Sound the alarm in my heart. We're taking off. Sound the alarm in my heart. We're taking off. Don't let go, I want your body around, all around, all around. Sound the alarm in my heart. We're taking off. Nothing really matters when our love is made of nada. Diamonds start to shatter till we're out of control. Nothing really matters when our love is made of nada. Got me spinning faster till I'm out of control. Sound the alarm in my heart. We're taking off. Sound the alarm in my heart. We're taking off. Don't let go, I want your body around, all around, all around. Sound the alarm in my heart. We're taking off. We're taking off. We're taking off.
Loud and clear.
Close my eyes, it's all coming to me. said these walls could never be breached. We all long for that one thing, a life that's worth living. And tonight there'll be a reckoning. I am ready. Are you with me? And we ride into the limelight, and we shine in our home right, and we'll fight for the good life. They are voices, carry you in the change, carry you in the change. And we They are voices, carry you in the change, carry you in the change. Should we follow the rules, you and me? Want to beat the system, unleash me. We all long for that one thing, a life that's worth living. And tonight there'll be a reckoning. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you with me? And we ride into the limelight, and we shine in our home right, and we'll fight for the good life. They are voices, carry you in the change. They are voices, carry you in the change, carry you in the change.
Got your hands on me. Every time I touch, there's a sense of urgency. Yeah, you wind me up. Oh, baby, I know I'm falling deep. I never get enough, cause we fit so perfectly. I'm not afraid of love. Every night I need you more. Days go longer now without you than before. Just thinking about you gets me high. Cause you know how to leave this soul electrified. When you take me down, when you take me down.
You can take your time. You can choose your words. Let me down real easy. Let me down real easy. Well, I'm doing just fine. Because I caught your lies. You say that it's you, not me. Baby, now that I am free, I want my lips back, my time back, my words like what I said. My love back, my life back, my heart, the one that you knew could break. The one that broke with your confidence.
Welcome back, everybody. Long wait, but it's worth that wait. This is the Season 11 Ramen Bowl Grand Final for $1,000. My name is Daniel Taco. I'm joined in the booth with Novanto. We got the San Antonio Revenge against the Philadelphia Plague for the final game of this UR season.
Championship Sunday always has a bit of electricity, and I, for one, am shocked to be here, Danger. I am excited beyond excited.
Yeah, and we got a best of 7. It's going to be a banger setup for all of these teams to watch, all the teams that have been beating them down. We've got 2 teams in the... It seems like we might be having some video issues here. And that is right. Season 12 is on the way. Little glitch, but we got out of the way. Check the Discord for the intent form, which is now live for Season 12 of United Rogue. It's right around the corner, January 2022. You do not want to miss out. So if you are watching all of this and you are excited to get in on the action, then you have your chance right now. Again, ! Discord in the chat, and you'll be able to take part in the next season. But right now, Navanta, it's this season, and it's the final game, and part of the $1,000 prize pool.
You can't do this to me, Danger. We have San Antonio, we have Philly, but you just dropped a bomb. Season 12 is happening in January. That's right around the corner, so you gotta sign up when you can. But I tell you what, best of 7 right now. The winner is going to have the lion's share of the prize pool, and I can't wait to get it started.
Yeah, these teams are in the money, but of course, they're not going to be content with that. They want to actually take home the main bread, pay that rent, take out those women on their arm for a nice date. Of course, you got to treat the honeys on your arm for a nice date every once in a while.
Yes, it's pro tip, actually. You know, I prefer Applebee's. I love Applebee's.
Just gotta go for it. Well, it's like a nice date, but also you could ball out if you go to a cheaper restaurant. So honestly, we're on the same page right there. It's nice to see. So we do have these 2 teams ahead, San Antonio and Philadelphia, getting all the way down here. Philadelphia, I would say an expected team, the first seed within the Eastern Conference, blown by a lot of different opponents, top 10 in quite a lot of statistics. And San Antonio Revenge coming in as the 3rd seed, and not necessarily everyone's favorite coming through, but they made it to the mountaintop, and now they just have one more little hill to climb on their way there.
Absolutely. See, Philly is the #1 seed going into this, but our staff has said San Antonio is a hot favorite. They have momentum. They just played recently. They could be still warm, and that might be the advantage for them.
Yeah, and I think the one thing that I'm looking forward to is the set of play, to be able to set the pace early on, be able to take it forward, and then whenever they can actually seize the opportunity, whether or not that execution is hot, really striking when the iron is hot with these nice passing plays or these setups is really going to dictate who's going to come out on top here. Because obviously, if you've got this far, you've got what it takes to be a champion. And we got 5 minutes on the clock here in game #1 to tear these 2 teams apart, see who draws first blood.
The reason they say this is best of the best of the best. Ramen Bowl is where it's at here, United Rogue. Even though 11 seasons and counting got confirmation of season 12, you can tell that these teams here want to show the whole world they can hang with pretty much anybody.
So we'll be seeing which team will actually be able to get on the board first. TK for Philadelphia will send it on the backboard, but Trill is there to meet it. Racing back, though, Don trying to capitalize, and they will. San Antonio getting on the board.
Talk about being warm off the gate here. This one here was a shot that was pretty much set up for another one, but I guess San Antonio had the vision to put it the other way, and they break the score tie 1-0. Only 30 seconds elapsed. Even less than that now, they're in control.
And aggression is so key to be able to create pressure within Rocket League. Philadelphia getting a bit over-eager on that play forward. Just one long clear undid their entire back line. So Philadelphia is certainly eager to get back into this, but they have to be careful. Some demos coming through, raining down, could open things up. So Mythic with a fake play, past Trill temporarily in the corner. We'll get another demo as somewhat of revenge for the bump attempt earlier. But settling down into the midfield, San Antonio and Philadelphia. I think after that hot start from San Antonio, I think we might be entering into a bit more of a cautious phase as the first minute has gone by, but the speed is keeping up, but not necessarily anyone going for the jugular.
Yeah, it's the perfect countermeasure. You know, if you're San Antonio, you get the hot hand, you're still warm from that last series, and you look at Philadelphia trying to get back to their own groove. And so if you haven't figured out your own shooting score yet, if you haven't figured out your own strategy yet, especially with a team like San Antonio, you're saying, let's double down the aggression, at least for now, to give ourselves a little bit of a breathing room, a little bit of a respite to figure out how we get something on the board.
Trill will cut one out into the midfield. They have a lot of space to work with, and they'll use it to find Milo up the field, and they will tuck that one in. All of Philadelphia watching, and the lead has now doubled.
Look at this one, off the wall, threads the needle, backflip, bottom 90. That was great, man. You couldn't drop that up in a training pack if you wanted to. 2-0 the revenge.
So now Philadelphia really has something to answer for. They're coming in technically as the higher seed, but playing in that Eastern Conference, you're not going to be facing off against San Antonio too often throughout that season. So therefore, having to really adjust on the fly with this different play style. Maybe they can finally get on the board here with Mythic. A brilliant save coming through from Don. And Emilio will tuck it to the side, but it's not over yet. A double commit coming up on defense. Mythic try number 2 and rejection number 2. San Antonio getting it done on both sides of the ball so far, but Philadelphia not taking no for an answer. Keeps on trying and keeps getting the same result.
And so being frustrating on both sides of the pitch. Not only did they have a 2-goal advantage, there's been a wall on defense. You can tell Philadelphia did not think this is the way it was going to go, trying to come from an early deficit here. I might say a little bit of desperation sinking in very, very early in this series.
However, they are doing a good job of not only locking down on that defense, but the offense hasn't taken a hit either. The patience is paying off, but you got to make sure you get that contact, capsize, breaking axles, and bringing Philadelphia on the board.
A little bit of a defensive lap here. That was one lazy touch, passed by a whiff, and Capsize had all the time in the world to make that happen. And that was important. 2 minutes and 30 seconds have gone by, and Philadelphia did not put a goal on the board, but now they do. The lead's cut in half.
We're only at halftime. Plenty of time for Philadelphia to mount even more of a comeback. How about something spectacular from Mythic? The tight angle, and it will just barely be cleared off the line. TK on the regress will get one more touch for. It will settle down in the corner until it pops out. Don, no touch. Mythic, the half rotation, but they'll only send it to the far corner. San Antonio, you can't get cocky. Philadelphia's #1 seed for a reason. They can tear you apart if you give them the space. Capsize for number 2, and there is the equalizer.
Well, I like the patience here. TK, if it was any less of a player trying to make that goal himself, but able to pass it out, just drawing out with defender, 1 defender and a half to make that a possibility. And I think, as we were saying earlier, double down on the aggression to figure out your own strategy and executing that strategy is the reason why Philadelphia is here today.
I absolutely love how Philadelphia is changing up the play style. They're going very quick and then intermittently adding in those slower dribbles or those baited-in challenges. San Antonio not necessarily is taking the bait and really getting dribbled by, but they're certainly being thrown for a loop. Philadelphia being able to change the pace at a moment's notice is certainly doing them a lot of favors. And San Antonio now, the one that had dictated the pace early on, is the one that's going to have to play catch-up, especially if they keep allowing these shots. Mythic will get a rare miss, and it'll just roll out back out to midfield.
When it comes down to two teams that are strong, like we have right now in the championship game, the Revenge and the Plague, it really comes down to creativity. Which team is more creative on the ball? And right now, after getting those 2 goals to San Antonio, they're looking pretty stilted, looking pretty stiff here. Philadelphia's looking way more fluid, and that's why they're the ones that make the goals more recently.
Emilio will try and just knock one into the blue half. It seems like the ball has not spent a lot of time down here since the beginning of the game. Trill will try and take advantage of that, but will only find the crossbar. Emilio into the ceiling after a deflection. Can't get the boost steal, so Mythic and company will just slowly dig one out into the midfield. with some space. They will try to get a rejection, but Philadelphia has splayed out. They didn't get to that as quickly as I thought, but no harm, no foul. They will get it away. So now we've seen a flurry of goals from both sides, back to the tie game and getting very close to that silver goal territory. Well, next goal might be able to take it within regulation. Every touch so crucial.
Touch is so crucial, but if I have to give anyone, I give Philadelphia the advantage. I like the fact that each player on that playing squad is occupying a different area of the pitch to give themselves a little bit more of time if they want to get on the ball. If you're San Antonio, your ideal work to pickpocket goals will go out the window if a team does not allow it. And you know, as soon as I say that, Castro's blessing, San Antonio pulls in front.
Mythic just trying to get it clear, but they decide to slow play. Emilio's having none of that. Closes it down, but still a lot to do. Very good awareness from Trill to recognize that is a clear, not a putback. San Antonio with the lead, 17 seconds remaining. Philadelphia, what do you have to say?
That was just an odd pass back. You don't want to do something like that, especially at this level, especially so late in the season. Any team worth their caliber will make quick work of that, and that's what San Antonio does. And as 5 seconds tick off, this might be the difference maker.
Now Don trying to put the dagger in game number 1, and they will. 2 seconds on the board, but not much you can do if you're Philadelphia. This game, it seemed as though they were on the right path, on that comeback trail, and ultimately San Antonio a bit too strong. Missed touches in defense go a long way, but just something about San Antonio's passing game, just they cannot shut it down, it seems.
The San Antonio's a mob. They're a mugger, so if you keep making mistakes, they're going to exploit those. For 2 minutes of this first game, Philadelphia knew what they had to do, but they got clumsy, and San Antonio made that an easy assignment. They have one game in its best-of-7 series.
So going on to game number 2, very curious to see the adjustments Philadelphia is going to make. It seemed like when they were in form, confidently challenging all those aerials, they were getting the touches that they needed. The problem is that in between them, when they're getting into transition, rotating back, they tend to give up kind of clunky goals. It's uncharacteristic of a team you'd see have a 14-4 record, be number 1 in their conference. To give away such, I would say, ordinary goals, if you're going to give away goals in a championship, you better make sure the other team's really earning them.
That's critical, but I want to say what's happened with Mythic in game 1 rendered absolutely invisible. And while you put your team in a 2v3 situation, the advantage is always going to be the squad that's playing standard the way it should be. That's why standard is a standard. So with Mythic gets back in the game in game 2, maybe it may change the tide, but as it stands right now, San Antonio has the advantage.
So going into this next game, a player just trying to breathe it in, take that time to really gather themselves. I think it's so important to maintain that mental composure. It can be so tilting to feel like you have it and then it slips away. And the last thing you want to do is have the same mistake in game number 2. So we're going to fly over to Neo Tokyo to see if those adjustments can be made. Same players are just readying up immediately. They're ready and raring to get into this game. I know they're hungry to get that lion's share of that prize pool, as you had mentioned earlier. And I'm very interested to see what teams are going to be bringing out. Are we seeing a difference in play? And maybe even more demos raining down, as I'm sure there's some frustrations to vent.
I mean, you make a good point. I know there's always stream jitters. That's par for the course. But now you're at Championship Sunday. You know there's a prize on the line. I'm sure everyone has reached out to their friends and family to say, hey, look, watch me make this bag. But I can tell you one thing. You can't make mistakes like that because teams are of that caliber. The San Antonio Revenge made this a fantastic display, a passing play, upper 91-0.
And this is definitely going to be a case of having a nice team to back you up. 1, 2, 3 passing play, and it's going to be slotted in that top corner. Very well done by San Antonio to start things off, showing it's not just a fluke. They were able to take game number 1. They have the offense to pay the bills. Now it's Philadelphia trying to answer back with a similar call. They have 2 players in the top 10 during the regular season for goal scoring, so certainly this is something that is in their wheelhouse.
Well, wheelhouse is great, but it comes down to executing. And I tell you one thing, San Antonio isn't necessarily the most crispest team on the field. I do think that's still Philadelphia, but what San Antonio has done is able to see what Philadelphia is doing and do that quick counterattack, that pickpocketing, that mugging, if you will, and that's been the difference here. These goals are absolutely scrappy, but that makes it that much great, that much more effective for San Antonio.
So Trill will be trying to force through a clear, but Philadelphia doing a good job to try to lock things down. Emilio, a brilliant job to have eyes in the back of their car just to avoid that demo. Capsize serving it back in, or at least the attempt was there. Mythic will only tap it into the side wall. Trill, sealing pass straight down to Emilio, but the contact is not there. Capsize will be able to temporarily get this one away, and another clear down the middle. Philadelphia will survive yet another San Antonio foray and send one down themselves. Can Capsize get on the end of this one? They'll only get a pass. TK is there, though, and you can't finish it much better than that.
This one here was a fantastic strike, but it kind of bailed them out there. TK was kind of almost out of position on the other side of Capsize. Had to come all the way across the net to make that shot happen. It was great. I'm not taking anything away from them, but you can't rely on goals quite like that all the time. But either way, we're tied 1 apiece.
So we'll have to see what's going to be coming next in this series. We've seen a lot of shots exchanged and a lot of blows gone back and forth. Does have a kind of a sense of a street fight at times. A lot of bumps, a lot of physical play, and of course, close calls on both ends. And it just seems like the ball can just squirt out at any time on some of these challenges. Don, ready and waiting on this.
That's the best way to describe this. I've seen Rocket League at this level be an ultimate thing, be a beautiful thing. This right here is bowling shoe ugly, but you know what there, Taco? I love me a drag out fight. Money's on the line, baby. Time to fight dirty.
So moving into the final 3 minutes of the game and quickly approaching that halfway mark. It's again going to be a fairly close affair. I think San Antonio really enjoying that 2-goal lead down the stretch. It's something I don't think we're going to be seeing too often within this series. It does seem like these teams are fairly capable of keeping it at least within striking distance, which is just such an important quality really in any high-level game, especially since the scoreline can change just like that. But Philadelphia, they can also learn that they can give something up just as quickly with a couple of these misses off the backboard. They will survive that foray and will set up a counterattack of their own. TK, wide open pass, a shot off the bar and in.
So many times that crossbars put shots on goals astray, but this one here is a bit of an assist. TK of the barrel roll. I guess he's out of Star Fox. Bar down, it's in there, and we're tied once more. Well, it's not going to be easy for every squad, but Philadelphia is finding new ways to keep themselves in the fight.
So moving forward, San Antonio, they've been able to etch themselves in front and then quickly been pushed right back into place. We'll see if the reset helps any of them down the stretch. They are still getting these passes, and they will continue to connect. It's just automatic at times.
Well, Taco, if I had a heart, it'll be breaking here. So close if I'm that ball clear, but just one extra touch was the difference. San Antonio finds a way to get back out in front. About 2 minutes, a little bit more than that to go here, but we have goals like that. I have to give that pink team the edge.
So at least now, it's curious to see really the combative style of both these teams going back and forth, and really I think the defense on both sides has left wanting at times, but the setups are certainly dangerous, and it just really goes to show when you are playing at this level, the composure is such an important thing to have, but the one errant touch can be punished every single time, and it took Millia dropping from the heavens to save that brilliant shot coming through from Mythic. Now they're going to try something on offense. The flick, the demo, the 50. It's going to squirt out into the middle. Don will find Trill. Another putback. What a save to the corner. And one more try from Don, and that'll be one in. San Antonio relentless on the attack.
Well, there was 3 shots on goal there, and the levies eventually broke, but that was pretty much delaying the inevitable. They were just where you have to be when they needed to be. And now 2 goals separate these squads. There's some daylight between the Revenge and the Plague.
And right now, the main thing I'm looking forward to in Philadelphia is just being able to get these clears, but it's so difficult. The rotation from San Antonio is on point. It was something that Denver was really struggling with pretty much the entirety of last season, or last series rather, because it's just so difficult to be able to get your clear and then not only get the boost, but move up into offense, because the moment they get it out to midfield, it seems like San Antonio is able to push it right back in. Even when they get this clear, Don is there, and a follow-up touch as well. So Philadelphia, if they want to try their hand at yet another comeback, they're going to have to do it in the final minute, and it's so difficult, even on the defensive end. San Antonio just barely etching something out. One more roll into the center. Can Trill get another on the near post? Just something about these angles.
Angles are something I know I'm pretty bad at. I almost failed geometry when I was in high school. But let's be real about it, Taco. There's a lot more opportunities with no one around for San Antonio. I can sing the praises of Philadelphia and the cows come home. But if you're on defense, someone has to take the assignment. Someone has to be there.
We'll see if Mythic will be able to provide that spark. They will not. Capsize decides against this. TK only get a partial touch. Mythic with none of it. So now Milio. Let's see if they can really damage the morale even further with another dribble. Capsize will say no for right now. And this situation, I'd have to think Philadelphia has to be thinking GG go next, and we're going to have to just focus on game number 3. San Antonio well poised to be able to take this match, but I suppose if they score with any time remaining, at least with a couple seconds left, there is at least some semblance of a chance. But the way San Antonio is playing, that's might as well be an impossibility.
You're absolutely right. If I was in the comms right now, I'd say, look, man, drop this game 2 or down 2 games. Doesn't mean the series is over yet, but whatever you're doing is not working. San Antonio has just basically been mugging Philadelphia. They're not the best player team. They're not the sharpest squad, but they've been effective, as the scoreline suggests.
So one more hit downfield, and that will be hitting that concrete. San Antonio taking that 2-0 series lead. 2 more to be the Season 11 Ramen champions, getting that money, and I have to say they are earning every single penny. Philadelphia looks uneasy. It's tempting to say that they're just not playing up to potential, but I'd have to say it takes a magnificently brutal offense to throw you this off balance, especially a team that has pretty much rolled most of the competition in their conference throughout the regular season, now really being put up against a wall.
I said about before in this game here about being creative, trying out new things, and that puts your opponent in the back hill. Philadelphia can beat any team on any given day. An attack-focused team, a defense-focused team, one that controls possession. But San Antonio flip-flops to do all these different styles at once. That will make it almost impossible to come up with a defensive strategy. So I feel you, Philadelphia. I'm with you. But you have to make this happen. Stop the bleeding to put this series more than 4 games.
And so now they're not necessarily out of lives. They have one more game to give to be able to prevent the going on match point. But at the very least, you want to get something on the board. That last game, it looked incredibly rough down the stretch. San Antonio was on a roll, and they did not stop. You might as well be trying to counterattack uphill. So as we go into DFH, into the sunlight, can the clouds clear for the Plague offense, or are they going to be stymied even further by the Revenge? Only time will tell. 5 minutes and a fresh map on the clock. We'll see Philadelphia at least get their first real look with a TK double straight down to Mythic, and they'll have put that one over the bar as well. Capsize will just keep it in the half, but that's really all it's doing.
Personally, I'm miffed we never go to farm set for these things, but that's besides the point here. We're still tied at 0 apiece, but we're seeing a little bit more of aggression on the side of Philadelphia. Basically, maybe the strategy here, going up top, going above the rim to see if they can stop aerials before they start.
So now an infield pass, Capsize, that's more like it. Philadelphia cross the pitch and a banger to finish.
Oh, that's a clean one right there, man. TK with a shot over there. Capsize sees it, knocks it down, and right there, upper 90. Even if someone was even there, they would have to stress the entire length of the goal, but no one was. And they have their first lead of the series in Game 3.
And that's the vision I'm looking for out of this team. I just want them to be able to pick each other out, and not every clear has to go straight up the line. Part of that is panic, but part of that is just having that coordination. You know who has a lot of that? San Antonio. Don just collecting yet another one on the goal line.
Rascals were out again using the wall to their advantage, and that was a hard one to judge, but 2 defenders were there. Both of them weren't in this vicinity, weren't in the city, and were tied once more.
It's so tough after a minute, and of course, that is yet another beatdown on the morale. You get the early goal, you're back to your winning ways, and then you give up the counterattack. Don is just plaguing these guys up close. So many finishes from practically within their defensive box. Philadelphia, I would really feel like these changes need to happen at home. You can score all the goals you want, but it doesn't matter if San Antonio's offense is a bit sharper down the stretch. At least for right now, this game seems to have settled, but I think if anything, the series has been mercurial as ever, and I think we're not going to be seeing much stability for long.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx anything because it's very early yet, but usually if you're the team that scores and the other team scores right after you, it becomes a bit of a mental advantage, being able to say tit for tat. So if you're looking at Philadelphia, now more than ever, you have to score as quickly as possible to say, hey, look, what you did right there was a fluke. We're not letting you back in this game. It's our chance to turn the tide.
But TK needs to get up for challenges like that. Trill is showing him why. Puts it into the open net. A very rough bounce, but look, it's Don at the center of it all yet again.
Once again, San Antonio's using those angles to their advantage. Look, shots upon goal straight are great, but if you can fake a defender using the walls and the ceiling, go for it. That's what San Antonio did right there, 2-1.
So now we'll see an even 50. Philadelphia certainly getting frustrated at this point. They do not want to go down onto match point, but it can be so difficult to stop San Antonio. This is a momentum-based team if I've ever seen one in all my seasons of casting. And I think right now, Philadelphia could do well with some at least slow play or variety of play, maybe even a bump, just something to disrupt the San Antonio rotation. I think that's honestly just as good as half their finishes.
I'm with you there, James Taco. Look, San Antonio can do everything. They can probably park the bus because you know how frazzled and razzled that Philadelphia is. Make them come to you, but they're being way more aggressive, and that may be their undoing here. But I like the fact that he's still holding down to the plan there. We're tied 2-2 apiece. Philadelphia gets a goal past the net, and how maybe a chance when they get a game in their tally.
And I like this from Mythic. It would be so easy just to get that pass off, leave it for your teammate, then rotate out and just try to take the next path toward the goal. But instead, they cut straight across, put it into a very tight angle, and using that fourth defender to SAR's detriment, even things up. Now it's all about that composure. You're back in the game. It's essentially a neutral scoreline, and you got half the game to do something about it, try to even up this series, or at least take a step towards that journey. SAR bumping into each other, so maybe they're feeling the pressure as well. They have to also be consistent. It's not easy to keep that amount of pressure, keep that amount of fortitude on both sides of the ball. And at least for right now, they're doing a stellar job.
Oh, look, not goals have come from that last one, but every time you see Philadelphia with the ball, there always seems to be one person up, maybe a second at third and all the way back. But when San Antonio goes forward, it's like a force. It's like running with the Bulls. And I understand sometimes you want to be more laid back, you want to have a defensive formation, but the way this series is going, there's no time to be meek there, Taco. You have to put everything forward. As they say, the grandpa used to say, balls to the wall. Now's the chance. $1,000 on the line. Go for it, baby.
I'll have to be careful as another ball will go out. Don, they're no stranger to those shots, but they will only send it into the ground. Mythic with a deep clear. Can Don now play their role on defense? It's setting up to Mythic. It's a high lob. TK, do they have the read? So does Milio. Don with an extension. Do they have the double? Looking for a pass. Instead, Capsize will meet Trill across the goal and settled down by Mythic. A slow play as everyone tries to retreat to their respective corners, trying to regather on the rotations. We've seen somewhat of a drought in goals recently, but that only means we're getting more down to crunch time. 60 seconds remaining here in game number 3. Still looking for that next goal leader.
That last minute is the witching hour if there ever was one. I understand you're being down by 2 goals. Philadelphia needs one to put themselves ahead, but what that would say not only about the series, but your team confidence, being able to do that. But San Antonio has had an answer, even in their own third. Every time Philadelphia has tried something, they may have the mental advantage.
So now we'll see Philadelphia trying to reset that mental. All these deep lobs are not necessarily dangerous, but they are forcing double commits. Mythic with a fake attempt. Capsize cutting across will set up TK, tough angle, and Don will be able to close it down. Chasing TK down is Don. Now getting a clear. Mythic. One more pressure. How many more pushes forward does Philadelphia have? Is this the one for the lead? No. A nice rejection and all the way back down. If Philadelphia wants to try for it at 0 seconds, they have to carry it the full distance of the field. Is it better for SAR to play for overtime? Not entirely sure, but I'm sure we'll be seeing one more heroic push forward from Philadelphia, and that is all it is. A long clear, and we will be seeing OT.
Hey, straight Mutombo, that last shot on goal, jeepers. But yes, the overtime situation here. And the thing is about the overtime situations, when it comes to scoring goals and scoring goals fast, that tends to benefit San Antonio. This is not a good situation if you're the Plague.
So they turn the tide. TK with a pinch. It's going wide instead. Don, it's a gentle clear. Capsize. They get a pinch. It's right to Mythic, and he cuts it wide. He can't keep it on target. Can TK salvage the attack? They're trying to dive at it, but SAR getting that clear out, and Mythic will just throw it desperately back in the half, but their best opportunity had gone by the wayside. As I say that, Mythic with a screamer to the near post.
I'm so glad Mythic was the one to make this happen with the goal, but that's been a problem for Philadelphia, the shooting accuracy. But look at that strike. It was class. And finally, Philadelphia gets one the board, especially egregious for #1 seed. They are back in this one.
My goodness, that shot, I was really confident saying that Philadelphia seems like this clear didn't actually feel like that dangerous out of that touches. It felt like it was just cleared down. SAR will catch it or maybe throw it in the sideline. And then, you know, maybe they'd try for an air dribble or something more gentle. But no, Mythic just took out the hammer, hit it as hard as possible, and you can't place it much better. It was perfectly threaded between the defenders. It's a beautiful thing to see and exactly what Philadelphia needed in this series. I was getting a bit worried down the stretch.
What do I say? When Mythic was not part of the offensive attack, Philadelphia was floundering. Once Mythic became front and center in the centerpiece, look at the scoreline. 2 goals, 1 saves, and 2 shots on goal. 100% shooting accuracy has been the difference maker in this one. I say go with works right now because if you look at this, Philadelphia played a complete game, and that scoreline reflects that.
And so now, as they actually have gotten their kind of a footing within this series, it's not necessarily a true, I would say, resurgence from their
Fair,
play because
fair.
it is a 1-goal game. They had to go to extra innings to be able to get that. And so now I'm looking for Philadelphia to really make a statement, solidify that defense, stop letting SAR dance through on these free goals. And I think Philadelphia is going to be a much more solid contender in this series. But they're showing that even when they do struggle, they can pull out this W. It's all about coordination. They've showed they have what it takes, but still a mountain to climb. They're down in the series. We're headed into game number 4. Urban Central is the locale. SAR is not going to be taking that one sitting down, I am sure.
I'm with you. Philadelphia's got the chemistry down pat, but they got to show up their shooting accuracy. That's been their Achilles heel. And when they get past the defense, and that's not often, but when they do, so many shots hit the crossbar or go wide. You get that shored up, and this might be a different series altogether.
Emilio had switched the Dominus. Maybe that's why. What a flick. What a great save. How is that staying out? Philadelphia praying to whatever deity they please. It was answered.
It was answered, and look, we're still tied at 0 goals apiece. It comes down to who's going to score first, and I think San Antonio wants to make that a possibility. Look, Danger, this is a whole new series now. You have San Antonio being their first defeat here after just rolling through that last series. They have to come up with an adjustment. They have to figure out how to beat this new, fresh Philadelphia team to put this to bed.
Ooh, Capsize playing with fire with that touch and to the putback. Mythic reacted just in time. John hitting it with the sweet spot of the car. Philadelphia, this is not what you want to be in after your first win. You are on the back foot. You've only got 1 shot thrown forward, and since then is an SAR trying to set up camp on your half. Capsize, a much-needed clear into the corner, will give them a brief reprieve. The infield pass as well might give them more than that. Mythic, good shot, and another goal line save coming through, this time from SAR. And I suppose the pendulum has now truly swung. Philadelphia is, in fact, in this game 4.
For as long as I've been casting at Urban Central, I like to call it Underdog Central because it favors the team that's coming from behind. And, well, by any other metric, that would be the Plague out right now, which is kind of ironic because they're the #1 seed going into this contest. So you look at San Antonio, I'm sure will make sure that I'm wrong and try to make sure they hit that first goal as soon as possible.
Trill, that's a hefty pass onto the backboard. Will be dealt with. Now Mythic giving Emilio a lot to think about. That's a clear up the middle. Capsize taps it into open space. Will try to find their teammate, but Don too powerful. Emilio too fast. TK with enough of a clear to prevent Trill from completing the playmaker trifecta. And with a demo on Don, that will certainly curtail the end of this SAR attack. How about the beginning of a Philadelphia one? The pass infield cut out by the demoed player Don. Coming back with a vengeance to haunt this Plague offense. Still trying to break out of their half, and playing long ball seems to be the only game that they're clinging to.
But cling is what you have to do there because, you know, look, this is the longest we've gone without a goal all series, so you won't be the one that flinches first. And I got to tell you, if it's Philadelphia's the one that flinches first, it may be the opening that San Antonio needs to roll away with the series en masse.
And so this has been a low-scoring affair so far, but I think it's certainly to the credit of both of these defenses. They're playing under a lot of pressure. How about TK busting out the squishy save, trying to avoid the demo attempt. So Mythic trying to dig something out of the corner. Capsize around the bend. Can't beat out Don. In fact, it's a pass to Mythic. He's got a lead blocker. Can he put it past? Trill recovers just in time. And an air dribble to boot. Now Milio on their horse. It's a deep shot, and it's a fantastic save. Keeping us even here on We Play between these two titans of UR.
Just want to put it out there. Capsize has been a maven on defense for Philadelphia throughout the case of the game, and that epic save was critical to say the least. We're still tied at 0 apiece. I can't imagine what will be the team that brings the deadlock.
90 seconds on the clock, getting down to that crucial area yet again where really the first goal to go through might be the decisive one. We've seen this series get closer and closer as time has moved on, which only means one thing. You guys are watching a banger matchup, as certainly you would hope so watching this grand final, but I think the job has only begun for Philadelphia. They're trying to tie it up, and they're doing a bit better. I think I've liked them more and more as this game has progressed. They're even working in some demo plays. SAR, you gotta watch your back.
Yeah, they have to do that in space because that was a shot that went wide again. The shooting accuracy of Philadelphia's case, has been their Achilles heel, like I mentioned before. But San Antonio, this looks pretty stilted. They're kind of pinned against the wall, just being very reactionary. Well, that works if you're doing a counterattack kind of offense. But when Philadelphia's been so crisp, you look like you're on ice skates currently.
When a lot of misses, Milio has quite an angle to work with, so it will be deflected by Philadelphia instead. TK. No extension out of defense. Trill will throw it across. Will find Capsize. Equally, will not find their teammate either. Trying to get back into their passing ways, both sides are, but certainly their first and only concern is making sure they're not giving the ball away. That more cautious style of play, it does a lot, but also it makes sure that the plays seem one-dimensional. It comes down to that consistency of touch. Both teams have it in spades, and it seems like that caution and that sturdy defense will be bringing us to overtime unless we see something dramatic at the death. How about this from Mythic? High lob, Capsize lurking upfield, and instead on the counter with Don, he's going to go for the catch, and it will be dunked down. Overtime yet again, second straight game.
Yeah, I wasn't looking towards that. I have no idea to predict 2 overtime periods in a row, but TK's making really short work of that. It's at the goal, and it's in there. We have a tied series.
And oh my goodness, of all the ways to end this overtime, it's just so quick, but it shows the respect that they have for the opponent. Trill is playing the block, not the ball. Sometimes you just feel like the players are good enough and fast enough to get that touch, so you go a little bit higher, just trying to curtail that touch over top, and that unfortunately will in fact be their undoing. Another 1-goal game, another overtime victory for Philadelphia, but they all count the same, and this series is all knotted.
I understand that TK would get the official MVP medal, if you want to say so, but I give a super special props to Capsize. 5 demolitions, all of them critical to really stymie the offense of San Antonio, and now we have ourselves a tight series.
And it's up to San Antonio to really dig themselves out of this trench. I don't think the offense is really curtailed. I think Philadelphia is dealing with it better, whether that is by somewhat parking the bus on some of those attacks and being able to just absorb pressure. If it's a strategy that works, it's a strategy that you should probably keep on doing. San Antonio getting demoed a lot in their half. I would love to see some more exit rotations, taking out a defender, or at least making Philadelphia sweat. Right now, they seem content to get these saves out, wait for their chance on offense, and strike when the opportunity presents.
We always say this is a game of momentum, and I can tell you going into that last series, San Antonio looked hot in games 1 and 2, but there may be a bit of a momentum shift. Philadelphia is #1 seeded for a reason. They had pretty much analyzed their opponent and found the antidote, and here's a chance for them to really send this home.
So San Antonio, they hopped out, and they were the team to beat. That game number 2 got really out of hand very quickly, but Philadelphia, like consummate professionals and that #1 seed of their conference, have consolidated themselves, they've composed themselves, and more importantly, they have gotten back into this series. San Antonio, what do you have to say about it, especially when Mythic and Philadelphia are continuing to be red hot?
They're stopped by Capsize, putting the ball there loose with a little bit of a pass there. Got kind of bumped for its efforts, but it was easy pickings for Mythic. And now, well, almost a different script in games 1 and 2. It is Philadelphia again scoring first.
It seems like in some games, especially when you're maybe solo queuing in rank, you have that time, you turn around. Maybe not every touch is going to be dangerous. It needs your attention. Philadelphia got an inch and they took a mile. A dime of a pass in the middle, and that's all they need under 15 seconds in with the lead. San Antonio is starting to notice a pattern they do not like. They are starting to slip down the slope on defense, not necessarily having the answer to some of these Philadelphia attacks, but if they have a good enough offense, maybe they don't need to. Milio with a brilliant flip reset, nearly getting some trickery involved to get an equalizer, but it'll only go to the side. The follow-up will only fall into Trill on the pre-flip. Don trying to complete it with a trifecta rotation. Capsize is there, another clear out.
Clear out here, making sure they have a little bit of space to think about their defensive efforts. Like, you have the 1-goal advantage. You're looking for that second one, but the last thing you want to do is get San Antonio and then this one. The Revenger on the ropes. They're in Philadelphia. Now it's time to clamp down and give yourself some distance, some daylight with a score of your own.
Ooh, brilliant shot from Mythic and a nice save as well from Don to answer. So Milio trying to scoop something into the corner. Instead, we'll find a defender. Don, one more progress into the half. Trill will not make any contact. TK beating out Milio. That's going to be a crazy angle. They don't hit it. Mythic does. Save to the side. Now Don and Trill on their horse, going to be cut out again by Philadelphia right as the attack begins. Half the time for San Antonio, it seems like they have a Philadelphia player just poking a bumper in, knocking it loose, being able to throw it right back up on offense. We were lamenting Philadelphia really opting for the long ball in Urban Central. Now it seems like on Utopia, that is the SAR playbook right now. They're just trying to get out of their half, and right now the only thing they can do is opt for these clears.
Well, I always said that Urban Central is underdog central. I'm not sure Utopia is on that kind of thing. But yes, they look at the advantage. And I can tell you one thing. These two teams have shifted dynamics. Forget about the momentum of the games and scores and all that. It really does feel that Philadelphia is just playing at a different level right now. A little bit faster, seeing their teammates on the pitch. And they just double their scoreline, 2-0.
Mythic looks at this bump and actually comes to a complete stop. They're just licking their lips. They know that is a heck of a read for Milio to make, and even the top salaried player on SAR is not going to always make that. Mythic knows that, and they're content to take the risk, plant their tires, and get solid contact. 2-0 for Philadelphia, a very rare multi-goal lead for them, potentially the first time we've seen it in the series. SAR starting to realize that these guys, they are first seed in their conference for a reason.
Yeah, first seeing the conference, the reason they find a way to do it. It's not about being the best necessarily. It's about being able to adapt to your strategy to your opponent. San Antonio had a very aggressive, very scrappy play that would have put any other team on their heels. But what could have been a sweep on paper has now shifted, and now San Antonio is looking for some new answers. They're looking for their way to put some goals on the board. Because look, 3 minutes have gone by, and they haven't scored one yet.
Philadelphia maybe bitten up a bit too much on that. That is going to yield a counter. Can Milio chase it down? They cannot. They are pixels short of the near post. TK on the counterattack. They have the reset off the ceiling. They will not use it. Instead, it'll bounce straight down to Mythic. Can they put the dagger in? They're going to find the bar, and it'll find a defender. Such a brutal gut punch of a goal for 3-0.
That little nod by Don was served on a platter from Mythic with help of the crossbar. Emilio, we have ourselves a 3-goal advantage. I haven't seen that many goals unanswered in this series yet, and somehow it's favoring the Plague.
Any Philadelphia bettors in chat, you must be feeling pretty confident right now. They have turned this series around. Now SAR is the one with all the questions to answer about their play. This series has started from sheer domination from their perspective. It is kind of transformed into a close affair going into overtime. And now Philadelphia, they don't need any extra time. They can get it done in 5 minutes. This has been a complete and utter momentum transfer. Even these saves from Philadelphia are top-notch. TK depriving SAR of a beautiful shot for a goal. And in the final minutes at this point, Philadelphia is trying to focus on beating down that San Antonio morale. What does Milio have to say about it? Apparently not enough. Another save out to the side.
PK gets the savior medal for that one, and I'm not usually an advocate for parking the bus, but Philadelphia can do that now. 3 goals advantage, less than a minute to go. Take some time with the ball, run the clock, make sure you save some of those energy for your next game here, because if the record holds, you'll be at series point.
So now with 50 seconds remaining, can they get something for the road, something to lift the spirits so it be, I suppose they have at least what it takes to be able to get these shots off. It's one thing to take from the silver lining. They're not being deprived of shots. It's just as soon as they try to spread out, get some boost, Philadelphia fills in those spaces.
Excuse me. Filling in spaces is definitely important. Able to read your teammate, even to be there on the side of the pitch is important. But I can tell you that when Capsize had that goal, there was no one around them. And that is something San Antonio could have remedied, but they didn't.
It's now one more push forward from Mythic. It's going to go untouched to Trill. They'll just throw it below the pre-jumping Capsize, and I think that shows all of the Philadelphia comfort in this series. They're just playing with their food at this point. This is a confident Philadelphia team. This is not the squad that I want to be facing across the field. SAR is not having a good time here in this next game. You say GG, go next, but what happens when that next game is match point? Philadelphia 1 game away as soon as this ball touches the ground from lifting that first place trophy.
reverse sweep will be extra sweet if Philadelphia is able to pull it off. So if you're San Antonio, now it's time for you to play spoiler. You let 3 games slip through your fingers. You were that close to hoisting that virtual cup and spending those dozens and thousands of dollars on things that to you love and to your nature. But now you have to come out with something brand new. Throw everything you know out the window. It is not a time to experiment. Just go for it now because you don't want to drop 4 games in a row, and it may be a possibility with this one.
And one thing it's interesting to see is somewhat the mirror effect of seeing Philadelphia. Their biggest issue for me was just starting in the backfield. Can you lock down your defense, actually get these saves, and not allow these tiny gaps for San Antonio to poke those near post shots and getting dunked out of the corner, dishing a pass from the corner and having no one there to actually cut it out? It just felt like Philadelphia did not have an answer. Now they've been able to take that breath. They have the composure out of the backfield, getting those clears through, and now they're solid. They're fine. They're able to turn it into offense, where San Antonio seems to be crumbling on some of these reads. They just cannot position themselves adequately enough, and it's really seen the series slip out from their control. They have another shot at this. They want to take this series the distance. They got Game 6 coming up on Forbidden Temple. And I really feel like San Antonio, if they do not set the pace within the first 2 minutes, is going to be quite the dire straits for this squad.
What's interesting is that Philadelphia's problem, their shooting accuracy is still there. They scored 4 goals, but on 13 shots last game. So, you know what? If you're missing all the time, just shoot more balls, it seems. Why not?
We'll see if that approach will pay anything off for the revenge. We do have that fresh scoreline, and we still have that San Antonio aggression. Let's see how long it lasts in the face of this resurgent Philadelphia squad. TK. Nice long clear, but Trill finds its way through. Double commit from Philadelphia in the midfield. Not a big deal, but Milio will only get a slight tap from the ceiling. Capsize chasing this one down. Don over the top. 2-on-1 has emerged. Mythic on that near post, waiting for the next touch. Don will be found, and that's the teamwork I'm looking for.
There you go. I mean, this one here was pretty much going to be served right to goal, but that last pass was an extra bit of, yeah, we beat your defense 2 separate ways. The touch goes in there, bottom 90, 1-0 the revenge.
Capsize, I think, getting a tad bit complacent here for Philadelphia. They chased down a play I don't think is that dangerous, and then the follow-through beat completely opened up the defense. Essentially, Philadelphia was in a 2-on-1 situation, more or less, at this level. That is going to be a goal more often than it is not. So Philadelphia is going to have to regain, and sometimes you're going to get something gift-wrapped to you. TK not going to have an easier finish all night.
Oh, gift wrapped, all right. This one here was a loose ball center. You know what? Someone at the Linguini level could make that a possibility. At Ramen Bowl, that is just an egregious error to say it. We're tied once again.
Near post woes from defense. One player thinking they have it, another one thinking the challenge is coming immediately. So they dive at it. They're just trying to tap it above the goal, but ultimately there's nobody home for that third man rotation. And a minute in, we're right back to neutral. San Antonio, best laid plans starting to go to rust, but can't get yourselves down. It's a joker of a goal. You laugh it off, and then you move forward. Try that new approach. Don trying to try some nice aggression on a 50, but ultimately long clear will yield it back to Trill. Try an air dribble one out to the sideline for Milio to chase. Into the corner. A couple of bumps. It's a sitter in front. TK will be able to remain strong and get a nice Cuxer pinch all the way down.
Well, Coxer pitches are always great, but it's even better if they score for those, but those are incredibly rare. Look, it's a 1-1 score line. I know both teams looking for that second goal to break that deadlock, but with a minute and a half gone by, I don't really have an advantage here. I feel like Philadelphia has momentum to win the last 3 games in a row, but San Antonio scored first in a goal that just says, hey, look, your defense isn't as strong as you think it is. It's really anyone's game here. So I got to say, it has to come down to the mental advantage. Which team wants it more this late in the series?
Trill trying to show that it is them. TK with just enough of a touch. It was just such a delicious ball lobbed in for Don. He couldn't resist but take the bait. Mythic will send it up for him again. Another beat over the top. Milio. Soft tap will roll out to the corner. Another touch. Half rotation from Mythic will cut it out, but a 50. Make sure it keeps going forward. Milio with no more boost. We'll have to rotate back with nothing in the tank. Capsize doing the same. A couple different misses. The bar will save their skins. Fourth defender sometimes can be your villain, and other times it can truly be the angel that you need. Still 1-1 as we cross halftime in such a crucial game for the Revenge.
I almost put my head down to write the notes. That goal was pretty much in. It looked like it was in 3 days from Sunday, but that crossbar had other plans. Of course, the crossbar is always the MVP here. We're still at that deadlock, 1 apiece.
TK, nice little cute passing play. Mythic trying to finish it off, but it will be cleared. Capsize will hold it up. Milio, long hit. Don lurking downfield, will not be found in time. Milio's a player lurking. They will be found. Troy, you can't hit him sweeter than that, and the save was up to the task. Now on the counter, Mythic, no contact. And unfortunately, Philadelphia will not be able to reap the rewards of that counter. How about this one? Mythic, a tougher angle, and they get it done! What an angle for the lead!
I don't know how you get that play good DLC, but I want a copy of that one. Look at this barrel roll, bring it down, even with the stuff, goes right in front of goal, and Philadelphia has the advantage. And those are the kind of goals that can be a game breaker if you're on the receiving end of that. 2-1 to play.
What are you made of? Right now is San Antonio's main question. Can you overcome this block and get that one more goal? Do you have enough in the tank to bring this to game number 7? Don is trying their best, but Philadelphia and the rest of this squad are doing a great job of cutting out these options. Trill getting a demo. Don, do they have a support in the middle? They have Milio lurking. They're not on the back post, but they'll try anyway. Trill, one more hit and a deep rotation from Don might spell an end to this, except that Capsize gave it up. It might be open on the near post. TK has to rush over and rescue the play, and another 50 will send it right on back. Seconds ticking down. Every clear from Philadelphia. Not necessarily a scoring opportunity for them, but taking off the most important resource that SAR has, the seconds left on that game clock.
I can tell you that TK will probably be the one to get the Gatorade douse over them, just being everywhere needed, opening up shooting lanes, and Capsize may have the dagger here. Look at this play off the wall.
Mythic doing such a great job. It's so tempting to put that into the back wall, but something that San Antonio was doing incredibly well earlier on, lobbing the ball across the goal line, making it as difficult as possible to clear. It is now something in the Philadelphia playbook, and they're doing it to perfection. 45 seconds remaining. They just need one to get right back in. Milio misses the pass, and another clear going down for the Plague.
Good players going down for the play. That looked like it was going to be a shot attempt for them to pull one back here, but all Philadelphia has to do is stop the clock, but I think they're going for 4. They're just too aggressive of a squad. They want to make San Antonio pay for embarrassing them those first 2 games.
Now rubbing salt in the wound. Can they waste all these seconds down? TK brilliantly past 2 defenders. Mythic has open room to run, and the air dribble going through. The dagger to the heart of the Revenge might have just been delivered.
I am squealing like a schoolgirl. Did you see that? We're talking about daggers? That was a dagger and twist and XR. Oh my goodness. Philadelphia has scored 4 goals in 14 seconds. They were just that close to becoming champions.
Now in the final seconds, are we seeing any clips busting out? I don't believe so. We have some GGs from the players. They knew this was a long time coming. Honestly, once when this 3rd goal was going through, it was a valiant effort. It was something to be admired from San Antonio, but sometimes players are just too strong. Philadelphia Plague, your Season 11 Ramen Bowl champions.
We all knew it. When you beat a team on the rotations, you beat a team on the net, and you break their ankles to boot. Congratulations, Philadelphia. You've earned this one.
I think that is something you can truly feel proud about, getting that medal digitally draped around your shoulders, knowing that you had to go through it. This was not a clean sweep. You're not beating up on players that are below your rank. They had to be taken to the brink and then taking a deep breath, plunging down with them and being able to bring it all back. A brilliant performance, and really that shows the caliber of this squad. When you're beaten, as you said earlier, you adapt on the fly. You learn what works, learn what doesn't, and that prioritization really shows through. 5-1 to close the series, and that was from a team that was really just on the back foot all of this last game. A brilliant turnaround.
If you love this one here, this is Season 11. Season 12 is just around the corner. Do yourself a favor, sign up to play, and you can find yourself playing for that grand prize like Philadelphia won today.
And it's SAR not going home empty-handed. They will be taking a portion of the cash prize. They'll be getting $300, I believe, of that $1,000. But of course, Philadelphia going to be making it rain. And of course, going back to the home Discord, I am sure getting all that love. The everyone's are probably raining in right about now. Congratulations yet again to the Philadelphia Plague for taking down a tough SAR. And unfortunately, Vanta, that will do it. Another season of United Rogue in the books. What a ride and a great culmination here with this final series.
It was great, and it's always a pleasure and honor to be with the icon Danger Taka. We should do it again soon. I guarantee we should do it again soon.
Absolutely. I'm down. You name the time and place, but for at least right now, we are going to end the broadcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. For everyone throughout all the streams all season long, I'm Danger Taco. That has been Novanta, and this has been United Rogue. Check that intent form, and we'll see you next season.
Hot mess up at east side. Heard about me, it's all lies. If you want good, change your mind, yeah. Don't want to intimidate, but more than just conversate. Don't want